veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la, 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 la. 6 a.m. and I'm up again. I got tired eyes, need a cup of blend. That's right, in the AM, that's my only friend. No light, just the sun coming up on the horizon. I lose track of time, yeah, I move fast and climb a new class divine, yeah, true passion shines. And I'm through passing time, I choose stacking dimes. You snooze half the time while I move passing by. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la, 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 la. I've been driving this train, years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la, 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 la. And I'm up again. I got tired eyes, need a cup of blend. That's right, in the AM, that's my only friend. No light, just the sun coming up on the horizon. I lose track of time, yeah, I move fast and climb a new class divine, yeah, true passion shines. And I'm through passing time, I choose stacking dimes. You snooze half the time while I move passing by. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la, 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 la. veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la 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 la, la 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 la, oh, oh, and I'm up again. I got tired eyes, need a cup of blend. That's right, in the AM, that's my only friend. No light, just the sun coming up on the horizon. I lose track of time, yeah, I move fast and climb a new class divine, yeah, true passion shines. And I'm through passing time, I choose stacking dimes. You snooze half the time while I move passing by. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la 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 la, la 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 la, oh, oh, la 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 la, la 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 la. Veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la 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 la, la 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 la, oh, oh, la 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 la, la 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 la. 6 a.m. and I'm up again. I got tired eyes, need a cup of blend. That's right, in the AM, that's my only friend. No light, just the sun coming up on the horizon. I lose track of time, yeah, I move fast and climb a new class divine, yeah, true passion shines. And I'm through passing time, I choose stacking dimes. You snooze half the time while I move passing by. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la 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 la, la 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 la, oh, oh, la 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 la, la 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 la, oh, oh. veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
Yes, good people, big up to all of you, and once again, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome back to another edition of the Blue Morning Show. Yo, one of your favorite show, I must say. At least that's what I believe it is. And yeah, today we are going to have um do a fun exercise where we try to pick the club's best 11, or you can say Enzo Maresca's best 11, because we have João Félix, Pedro Neto, Cole Palmer, Noni Madueke. We also have, I think, Mihailo Mudrik, Nicolas Jackson, Mark Gui, Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, Keenan Dewsbury Hall. And in defensive line, we have about how many CBs? At least a four. Let me just stick with at least a four CBs. And these are all good players. And by the way, Renato Vega can also fulfill the DM role. And one thing is certain, these players can all not start at the same time, which means there has to be a starting 11. Even if the manager rotates, we should be able to say, yeah, these are the players that will almost always start. But that's, by the way, without wasting much of your time, I would say hello to those of you in the chat, because that's how we roll here. It's about the panelists. It's about those in the chat. We keep it interactive here. Nobody is more important to the other. What we're here to do is look at what's out there with regards to our beloved club, take our time to dissect and analyze, and then come to a sensible conclusion. So thank you for being part of the community. We appreciate you. We're getting closer and closer to 23,000 subscribers. At the moment, we're at 22,908 subscribers. So a little less than 100 to get it to 23,000 subscribers. But more importantly, we do appreciate you. And the first person in the house is saying, Ro on my Niger, bro. Nice to see you. Number one, indeed, I appreciate you. Namaya Fowler, no, you're not the first person today. And Ty, who's also currently hosting the show, is here. How possible is that? I do appreciate you, Ty. Thank you so much for finding the time to join us this particular morning. We move on. And by the way, I do feel a lot better than yesterday, being a bit under the weather, but I recovered. And yes, people, if you want to become a paid member of the community for exclusive content, the link is pinned at the very top. Mabas05, my Iraqi bro, nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. Big up a legendary Kochila Ibali. He is the reason why Chelsea keeps signing inexperienced kids instead of signing established players. You're just making up crap right now. Todd Boehly, I'm not choosing sides, but let's talk about it. Todd Boehly has been in charge for two seasons. It was only recently that what's his name? That Iqbali took over. So if anybody has been responsible, if you want to blame anybody for being responsible for the kids we've signed, it's Todd Boehly. Yeah. Under Iqbali, we've signed more experienced players. Pedro Neto, João Felix, you name them. And Tosin Adarabioyo. So if you're going to get... I don't think it makes sense to really choose sides. And I've seen some people choose Todd Boehly because they've seen him with a Chelsea scarf, Chelsea branded bags and all that duffel bag and things like that. It just doesn't make sense. But that's, by the way, that's not what we're here today. We've talked about it already, except if things change. It's been 2 years since Thomas Tuchel was sacked. Who sacked him? Todd Boehly. He was the one that talked about Thomas Tuchel being a talented manager, but he's not aligned with their project. So you see now, you just concluded that you prefer one of the you can say one gang maybe, or one what's the most correct language to use one of the owners and the other. I think that'd still be correct because you understand what I'm trying to say. But that's, by the way, let's keep it aligned. Otherwise, I will assume you're having a good conversation with a community member in the chat, and I will skip your chat. Big up to you too, Tobias. Nice to see you. Nonamatic is soon to start for England. You do like him quite a lot. I'm seeing that. You always talk about him. And to be honest, if you come here any day and not talk about Nonamatic, I'd ask you for your ID, bro. But it's all love, Tobias. Big up to you. I appreciate you. I do make good coffee. All right, that's by the way, and we have Mabasa for 2 years ago today. Okay, yeah, I didn't remember that. May her soul continue to rest in peace. And WFE money. That's really going on with our owners. What's really going on with our owners? I don't know. And in all honesty, no matter what anybody tells you, what we can do is speculate. And these things do happen in business. I think it's happened. It happened at Liverpool, or what was it, Man United? I can't remember where exactly. But the fact remains, let me say, Arsenal too. But the fact remains, this is something that's very common in businesses such as ours, where you have multiple owners. And you can argue, irrespective of what anybody tells you, it is in most cases driven by greed, driven by the insatiable desire or urge, maybe, for power. And in the case of Todd Bowley, you could argue that's the case because he was in charge for 2 seasons in a row. He was involved in everything. He's almost always the one you'd see speaking to the press. Igbali at the time hardly did anything like that. So at one point, because what he's done in 2 seasons, what he did in 2 seasons didn't work. Maybe they had a meeting and he was asked to step aside. And when he did, that's when, yeah, all of a sudden he wants to buy out Clear Lake. So for me, it's you can argue it's power tussle. So he wants a power a struggle. Maybe he wants power. Maybe that's the most, you could say, sensible thing to say, actually, because when he was in charge, they had no issues. But the moment he stepped back, or the moment maybe they had a meeting and he was asked to step back, that, yeah, he hasn't really, he's done already hasn't worked, then he has a problem. So it's about power, really. Although he's not going to admit that's the case, he will probably tell you it's differences in with regards to the direction they want to take the club, if that makes sense. So I don't know, but let's move on to that. I'm going to say hello to all of you. And Mabaso Fight says, I hope Maresca can win Chelsea the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, or something ex-manager Poch couldn't do. I think he'd probably win one trophy or two. But even if it ends up not winning any, but if he gets up into top four, which I believe he's capable of doing, I'll take that gladly and actually celebrate it as if we've won the Champions League itself, if that makes sense. But keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. So as you've heard me mention, we don't have too many players. I think the squad is pretty much balanced right now. I get it. Some people will still say that we should have signed a striker. I am one of those that didn't really believe we needed to purchase a striker going into the season, because we have a lot of players who are capable of, if they can score 10 each, I think that'd be enough to ensure we make it into top four. But that's my opinion anyway. I want, once again, hello to all of you, and thank you for finding the time to join me today on today's edition of the Blue Morning Show. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'll be paying attention with what's going on out there. If anything emerges, be rest assured this will be one of the first places you'll hear about it. Without wasting much of your time, I'm going to be switching to the presentation window. But before I do that, I want to check if anything new has emerged, and it doesn't look like that's the case. But just give me a minute here. While I'm doing that, if you have any questions, drop it in the chat, and I'll try to address it. And as usual, if I don't have the answer to your question, I'll pretend I haven't seen it. And we have what we have here. So we're gonna roll a bit. We're just gonna let the show flow a bit before we get into the lineup exercise, where we select Chelsea's strongest 11. Today, democracy reigns. It's not going to be my decision, but we will use some stats website to compare who's better if we're stuck between making a decision, if that makes sense. And if need be, I'll use the poll there also. IGN Ngale, nice to see you, Mr. Ngale. It's been a minute. I hope things are okay with you. Hopefully the case is that you've been busy and that nothing bad has happened on your end. If you've been busy, good. Because we understand bills don't pay themselves. Who else is excited with what Maresca is cooking with Sancho? Not just Sancho. I think even the draw against Crystal Palace, the loss against Manchester City, I could see already that we're making progress, and I'm confident that he's going to do a lot better than a lot of people believe he would. Maresca, I am. I've been seeing the 1v1 training clips with Sancho and Maresca. I guess the break is a blessing in some way. Not really. Not really. When we're not properly rehearsed under a new manager, new identity, I wouldn't say a blessing in disguise. If anything, it puts a halt. It halts the progress we've made so far. But I do hope that's not the case. Um, just Give me 1 second here. I wanted to trigger a command. But yeah, nice to see you once again, Mr. Ngale. I do hope you're doing well. Anything else to address here? Can we stop the ownership talk? Otherwise, I will assume you're having a good conversation with somebody in the chat. Todd wanted Ocean. Iqbali said no. How do you know those things? And I don't like to actually engage in a debate with anybody that's just making up shit. And no, I'm not into sucking up whatever anybody tells me. If there's no way to confirm that that's exactly what happened, then for me, it's absolute hot dog, and I'm sorry. Yeah, I think you will. That's just my opinion anyway. What else do we have here? Anything else to address? Anything from anybody here? How can we trust the owners if they cannot trust themselves? I know where you got that from. I saw that post. It's not about them trusting themselves. So don't suck up everything you see. That's just somebody somebody thought about it and felt like it's cool. But for me, it doesn't really make sense. The owners having issues. It's not about trust. For me, it's just it's power tussle, in my opinion. But let's see. Big up to you too, Jen. Nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well, and thank you for joining us this particular morning. And GFC God. Nice to see you, brother. I do hope you're doing well. Thank you for finding the time to be with us. I cannot thank you enough. Let me see, what else do we have here? Let me adjust the presentation window to be ready to present properly. So I prefer this. Let's go with that one there. Anything else here? Yes, people, go check out GFC Gavin's YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. Let's help him get to 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible. I think he deserves to be at that level. Anything else to address here? And Ngale is telling us that he's good. Traveled around the world, got held up a bit, but I am good. Traveling is good. At least you're traveling around the world. That's huge. A lot of people don't get to see too many places in the world before. Yeah, they call it a day on planet Earth, if that makes sense. But again, thank you for that. Sincerely do appreciate you, Mr. Ngale, for finding the time to come be with us this particular morning. So if you're in the chat, if you have any question, any questions, we'll go free form for a few minutes and we'll get into the lineup building exercise in a bit. The Mai saying, I hope our form doesn't drop off after the international break. Our form is not normally good. Lavia might be back. Yes, I think Lavia, the possibility of Lavia being available for selection makes a huge difference. But still, I dislike the international break for reasons we've talked about. It doesn't help. And especially when you have a team that's not properly rehearsed yet, the international break can mean when the players come back, you start afresh. And we have a lot of international players. I don't know who didn't travel. Lavia didn't. Who else didn't travel? Nkunku did not. Was the French international also who didn't travel in Wesley Fofana? A few of them didn't travel, but important players such as Nani Madueke, Levi Colwell, Cole Palmer had to be let go from the England camp because he was ill or something, nothing an injury. I'm not quite sure. So the international break for me, if you're a big club as Chelsea, a huge issue for you. But smaller clubs that doesn't have too many players who represent their country or internationally, who represent their countries whenever there's an international competition or playoffs or maybe qualifiers. Those clubs do have advantage, and if you pay attention to the pattern in the Premier League, most small clubs, they usually do well after the international break because they stayed together and kept training, while the big clubs usually lose a lot of their um, a lot of their players due to international assignments. Some of them come back jet lagged, tired, injured, and yeah, that usually affects the results we see after international break. If that makes sense. Okay, you go ahead with it. Leslie cannot start for Southampton. We'll find out. That's just your opinion. I was. That's up to you. I don't care really. I don't have to read it. Mr. Blinky Blinky, back again. I haven't seen you in a while, but thank you for finding the time to be with us. He says, "Well, I believe Chelsea will be a great club soon. The way Chelsea looks, there are a lot. Yeah, things have changed." And how we were able to sign a Pedro Neto, I honestly do not know. Even the price at which we got João Félix, how we were able to do that, I don't know. I think we have a very good squad. I would have loved to sign at least one experienced CB, but I think again we didn't do that. But I think eventually we'll start seeing what's his name, Tosin Adarabi, or your week in week out, because he has that cool headedness to lead that back line effectively. He's one of our most experienced CVs. He's excellent on the ball, has excellent passing range, reads the game very well, has excellent positioning. He's good aerially. So I think we need him in that back line. But the manager is taking his time, and I think he knows what he's doing. But I think Tosin is needed in that back line. We need a mix of experience, cool-headedness, and then one young players, maybe Wesley Fofana or Levi Cowell. I'm not too comfortable with the two of them starting because once we concede, I seen you could sense that they start panicking a bit. Yeah, they're not as you could say as calm. Usually after we concede goals, if that makes sense. So I think Tosin has a place in that back line, but we'll see. But thank you, Blinky Blinky. We appreciate that, Coach. I want to see Maresca play Casado as a right back against Bournemouth. I don't want to even see him there. I want him. Listen, something Bobby did say a few days ago. It takes Casado a while to pick up form or to measure up to reach the same wavelength as his teammates. And I think I've seen that again. I've observed that myself, so I believe it. He'll still come good. But let's see what happens. The international break probably will be a setback for him. He will, if he starts, you'd see him struggle a bit. Yeah, but there's a good player in there, and I think we all know that that's the case. Saying maybe they should bring back Achivong. Did he leave on loan? I thought he's still part of the squad. I would have loved Chelsea to sign an experienced CB, yep, and a clinical striker as a competition for Jackson. I think Jackson already has competition. Why do I say that? Kunku can fulfill the number 9 role, albeit a different application, a hybrid number 9, or what you can call a false 9. Cole Palmer can do that if it's there. Then João Félix can play in the number 10 role. Who else? One more person. I think I'm missing a name. João Félix can play there. Kunku can play there. And what's his name? Cole Palmer can also play there. We don't really need a number 9. And Maresca is not into traditional number 9s, in my opinion. If he, again, you guys have heard me talk about why I don't think we need Osimhen, but I'm not going to get into that right now. That's a list of high concerns because I don't think he ends up at Chelsea, and that's just my opinion. It may well still happen, but I'd rather us not sign him. Colwell and Fofana is good at building partnership. Yeah, but I'd mix it up with somebody like Tosin Adarabi, and that's my opinion anyway. Yes, people, keep dropping the likes on the stream. 21 likes. Let's try and get it to 100 likes as soon as possible. I think we can. I want to see Tosin as a centre back and Fofana in the Premier League. Yep, I want to see that. I want to see that mix of experience, cool-headedness, excellent ball rating, aerial beast in Tosin. Sometimes he doesn't even need to jump. Yeah, and Salmino also comes in. So yeah, now it makes sense. We actually don't need to sign a CB. it would be waste of money if we sign a CB and then Salmino, who's also as good as he is on the ball, he can drive with the ball too. He's also he can be aggressive too. So I like that. So it probably would do well. Most likely would do well in the Premier League. Achibong not alone. Yeah, I did say that. Who was the one that said bring him back? Do you mean bring him back into the squad? And a graphic user interface. Uh, you, Brianni Yahayu, much love to you, my bro. I appreciate you. That's a lot to say. I don't. I have to actually update it. Yeah, because it looks like you change your ID every month. But nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. So, who is in Bali tribe and who is Igbali tribe? I'm not choosing sides. If I want to choose side, I'd go with Igbali, but I'm not choosing. Now, I explain why, and people don't seem to pay attention. It was Bali who sacked. It was Bali who fired Tom Stucco and wasn't secretive about it. He's talked about it a billion times. Even during, I think it was some in Saudi Arabia, had a conversation with one of owners of a Premier League club and told him if he heard what Thomas Tuchel did, he'd fire him too. He didn't even shut the heck up about it. And a lot of people how quickly people forgot that I didn't know, and I don't know why. And he's been in charge for our transfers for 2 seasons right now. It is of late after what's his name after Igbali and Co took over that we start signing more experienced players and would be yeah exactly. And I don't know. I don't want to get into that argument, but I'm just shocked at how quickly people forget, and I don't know why. And you forgot the Bali out. We started with hashtag Bali out when the transfer players were signing. A lot of people complaining that we're too young. A lot of people at the time weren't saying much. So I don't know what's going on. I don't want to choose sides, and I don't want to fight anybody because of it. Why? I'm going to tell you why. They will eventually settle their differences. Why? And I'm going to tell you why again. Because I don't see Clear Lake as big as they are, and as the sort of money they have, I don't see how much Bali and Co will raise. Probably two. If you tell them, if you come to them with how much to buy out their shares, that they're going to make around let's say 1.5 billion pounds. I don't think that will be enough because they probably looked at the club and believe they can make a lot more long term from the club. So why sell it? Bali, if anybody, from what we're hearing or the reports we addressed yesterday, you could say Bali probably most likely will be the one that if he sees enough money, he'd say, yeah, to heck with it, I'm done. Given the reports from his perspective or PR reports from his perspective, which say something to the effect of if he's here long term, but if he sees that he's being sidelined by Cleric and Igbali, that he's willing to call it quits, which for me, he's leaving the door open. And for me, the way the whole thing has happened, you can argue that Bali actually his issue is that he's not the ultimate decision maker anymore. So you could call it power struggle. And that's what I call it. So I'm going to try and catch up with what we have in the chat. Come back to the presentation window so that we can actually get to the lineup building exercise. We're going to be using numbers and polls if need be. And who's Roman's second coming? It's never going to happen. You know that. I think he's tired of that. Palmer at first nine doesn't work. Did you say that the last time he played as first nine? I think it was on the who he scored a hat trick. I remember, and you must also remember that it's almost always a fluid approach. You're not stationed centrally. You have every right to drift to the right or to the left, if that makes sense. But that's by the way, Disasi is a disaster, and he's still at the club. Probably will get a chance to start someday. We don't know. Can João Félix play on the? Yeah, he can. Actually, yeah, he can. While Pedro Neto, again, he's played mainly on the right hand side and on the left hand side. But at Chelsea, he's started on 2 occasions. He's played on 2 occasions. Or the chances he's gotten to play were all on the left hand side. Yep, João Félix can play. I think he mainly on the right hand side. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anything else? Felix cannot play left wing. I think he can on either sides. You could argue that Actually, that was one of the reasons why the manager, was open to us signing him. Let's see what else we have here. Wycliffe Barros, nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. Bali wanted to keep Poch. Yeah, so but I don't want to get into the argument. My point is this: the choice depends on who you ask. And I don't want to I don't want to choose between either of them. I think eventually they will settle their differences. These things happen. I think either at Liverpool, it did happen at Liverpool or Manchester. I don't remember where exactly, but I don't want to. I don't want to. You can say throw information at you out of my wazoo, if that makes sense. This start. He was the one who sacked Tuchel. Wasn't secretive about it. Always talked about it, in my opinion. Yeah, chances are that, and here's one thing to bear in mind: it's a group, and I don't think one single individual has been responsible for all the decisions they've made or all the mistakes they've made. They do talk and decide, okay, let's go for it, irrespective of whose idea it was in the first place before the group deciding to do that, if that makes sense. But that's by the way, no one that is wearing this Chelsea case. Here's the most shocking thing I've seen. I'm not saying I don't know who be. Let me use the language people have been using on I've been using on X, the lesser of the evils. I don't know who is. I don't know who wants what's best for the club, and irrespective of what anybody says, they both want profit irrespective of what the fans think. Barley wants profit. Igbali wants profit. And if you ask me, Barley knows how to walk the fence. Yeah, he's been his own. He owns a sports club and knows how to use the media to walk the fence to warm up to him. Yep. But I don't think Igbali is into that. If you remember, it was Barley all gracing interviews left and right, granting interviews to some of the biggest media outlets, telling them the vision for the club and all that. He liked that, and probably after taking a backseat, didn't like that much. But that's just my opinion anyway. I don't know. We can only speculate given the information we have, if that makes sense. But Vic, nice to see you. And just go back to where you were. I don't want to fight with you this morning. Leave me alone. Igbali is tired of the bally tactics and model of business for this football club. He is playing roulette with the young talents. No. When did when did he take over? And when did Bali step back? You have to take your time to think about it. If you want to, but I'm not choosing between the two. I'm not taking sides. I'm just trying to be as objective as possible. But a lot of people aren't. Some people just went because they've seen him with the scarf, duffel bags, Chelsea branded duffel bags, jackets, and all that. They're saying, he's proper Chelsea. I'm going for Bolly because of that. Him signing Chelsea crest during preseason tour in the United States. And as I've told you, he knows how to walk the fence. His experience. And yeah, so it was easy for people just because of that to say, yeah, he's the guy I want over Igbali. I don't want to choose between the two of them. Honestly, I'm not taking side, but I'm just perplexed. I'm just shocked at how quickly. And I think it was Chimera yesterday who said he's choosing Bali. You should see him wearing the scarf and all that, wearing the Chelsea branded jacket. And I told him, okay, so if your girlfriend wears a shirt that has "Love is real" written on it, or "I love Chimera," that's it. Your girlfriend will never cheat on you, or maybe that's a sign that he truly does love you. So common sense says that doesn't mean your girlfriend really loves you, if that makes sense. But that's, by the way, I just don't want to get into that argument. But let me see what Chimera has to say before we get into the exercise proper. Bali should focus on running Strasbourg instead of Chelsea. Okay. Was Vic here? Todd turning us to Brighton and Chelsea. There are so many ways to see it. But Heston, the reason it wouldn't make sense to blame either of the two individuals is this: it's a group, and I don't believe for a second that all the decisions they've made so far, the bad ones, the good ones, that it was a single individual that brought up the idea, suggested the idea, and went ahead with it without consulting the others, without even proper process of deciding that finally that's exactly what we want to do. It doesn't work like that. But a lot of people would just think whatever decision that was made at the time, it was that person. That's why I'm telling. I've told people I'm not going to choose sides. Yeah, because again, I'm not an expert with regards to how organizations work, but I have a good idea. No, Todd wanted only one sporting director. How do you know? Show me a video of you guys in a meeting together, and then I'll believe you. Vicky's saying Winstanley joined when Potter came to the club, and Lawrence Stewart came in a few months later in February. How the heck was Bolly in charge of transfer? Here's the thing. I'm going by people's logic. I'm going by people's logic that Igbali is the reason why we're signing all the kids we're signing. Yeah, you make a very good sense, and you know how I operate. So going by that logic, we should be blaming Bolly for all the transfers. People will tell you. I've seen one that says it was Igbali that signed Mudrik, and Todd Bolly wanted Rafael Leao with pictures. Yeah, which makes it believable to a lot of people, and a lot of people are going, if that's the case, Igbali out or Clearlake out. So if you know how I operate, I'm going by the logic. Yeah, I know we had those guys, and here's the thing, they whatever player they've signed, they're going by the club's playbook. They're not just deciding we want to sign player A, player B without going by the blueprint in place for them to work with, if you get my point. And I'm quite sure you do understand my point. Excuse me. 1 second. All right, people, keep dropping the likes on the stream. And by the way, that's a very good point. But a lot of Chelsea fans will not tell you, the directors know. They will tell you it's a Bali or maybe Bali. All right, let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, and I'm going to say hello to those of you that I haven't said hello to. Then we can move on to the lineup build and exercise. Chelsea is cooking well this season. Lavia Casado in our midfield will be more potent with Palmer and Felix being our creative attacking midfielder with Sancho on the left, Jackson on the right. Okay, thank you for that. And Rain is in the house. I appreciate you, Rain. I don't think any fan has enough details or knowledge. Yeah, we can only speculate. That's why when I see people saying that's a fact, somebody accused me of having issues with a fact, his name specifically, Bobby Fairview. And I told him, okay, if you can come onto the panel on camera, let's debate how everything you're saying is a fact, or debate each other on what's fact and what's not. There's nothing we work with here that you would tell me is a fact, because we're not part of the meeting, except if you're working with numbers, and products, then we say, yeah, we're working with facts. But if we're going by what you can say the media personnel probably helping the two camps involved in the power tussle, for lack of a more specific language there, then we're just speculating. None of us have been in a meeting where they had the issues and all that. But Rain, nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show this particular morning. I do hope you're doing well. Vic is saying the choice depends on who you ask. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Clear Lake wants to run it for 10 years and get out. I don't think that's the truth. How do we know? And 10 years, do you think they'd make enough gain? That's where that aspect of that argument doesn't make sense. Barley wanted to buy a club and has experienced in sports business once in 20 years. 20. I've seen that report too. How do we confirm that's the case? So they know Barley himself is good at running, manipulating fans. Maybe that's a more specific language. But I agree with you. The choice depends on who you ask. Yeah. So that's very correct. Anything else here? So Vic, I'm glad you're in the house to help me here. If anything new emerges as the show progresses, please do let us know. No, I have it. I have quite a lot. Actually, I just don't wear them. I have a darker blue ones. I have a few that don't size me anymore. But very nice to see you. Thank you so much. It's not new. He's saying, Coach, I can clearly smell. Uh, Here's the thing, I don't trust anything I'm seeing out there. And I'm saying this, chances that they will settle their differences and fans will be the one that will continue fighting. All right. In Todd, we trust. Not we. Can you not say we? Just tell us your choice. Um, Guys, I have successfully steered the topic from Maresca's lineup to honest show now. Thank you, Letta. We get to that in a bit. Without um wasting people's coach. I think we would do well because my friend is telling me Chelsea will finish above Manchester United, and it looks like it. But don't hold your breath on that. The season is still fresh. About 4 games into it, 3 games into it, so anything can still change. Yeah. But big up to all of you. I appreciate you all. Big up, Matt. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Is it lagging for everyone, or is it just me? Or is it just Matt, so to speak? But maybe it's connected to the wrong internet connection, but I'll check. But nice to see you, Matt. I do hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining the show. And big up Walter Moregba. Nice to see you. Big up Coach Barley. A step down last season. Let's see. The other window, is it lagging? No, it does. It's not lagging really, but okay, that may well be the case. Barley stepped down last season before Poch became Chelsea coach. So we shouldn't actually be judging the individuals. And one thing we should bear at the back of our minds when judging them is that there's no way in a group like this, a single individual will be the one to say, I want us to do this, and the club has to do what that individual wants the club to do. No, it will be run by the owners, especially Claire Lake and Bali. Those Bali 13% plus, but it's still be part of the decision making. But at one point, he was the ultimate decision making. So I think probably after stepping back to him, I think probably he doesn't like that. He's not used to being part of you can say a group like that and not be the top decision maker. That's just my opinion anyway. But we'll find out. Big up, big up, big up once again, Matt. Anybody else in the chat before we move on? And Vic is saying facts are objective evidence, coach. I understand, but you cannot tell me, for instance, that Iqbali is the reason why we signed all the kids we signed, and you say it's fact. Yeah, objective evidence, what we know as fact remains relevant. Yeah, I agree. But then it's not wrong to say we can only speculate. So we're saying the same thing, but you're trying to manipulate me with English. Just go away. All right, gonna be you for the session. Let's see anything else here. It's just glitchy for a second. Okay, and then it comes back. Okay. And Max is saying, I've been out of the Chelsea game. Okay, yep. Matt took a break from the community. I know that's the case. Anything else here to address? Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to the presentation window, back to the presentation window. So we start the lineup building exercise. So let's hear you. I'd be shocked if more people, just give me 1 second here. No, I don't. No, I don't know who that is. I have to be honest with you. I'm not going to pretend. Big up to you to Tamidayo Lumareka, me at Bon. Nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to be part of the show this particular morning. Yeah, it took a break from the community. Yep. That's my understanding. I hope everything is all right on his end. And we have to be good. Big up to you, Tabeho. Nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join us on the panel. So let's get into the exercise proper without wasting up much of your time. The goalkeeping position, let's hear you. Who do you think, again, makes it into Chelsea's strongest 11? I'd say right now, again, I still have the belief, maybe because of maybe some measure of dislike that I have for Robert Sanchez. But I was one of those that argued at the time, yeah, he's definitely starting the season, given that numbers at the time did show he actually did better than Petrovic. But a lot of people at the time were basing their judgment on eye test alone, not paying attention to the numbers. I think Sanchez, you could argue the arrival of Philip Jorgensen has actually led to him doing even better than he's done. His camera across is more calm on the ball. Doesn't look like he's again he panics just he did when he joined us. I think he's improved. You could maybe, if you want to attribute that to the manager or maybe to the rival of Philip Jorgensen, you'd be correct. I don't know. Whatever you choose to do, you're correct. But the truth remains, I think he's looked the real deal of late, in my opinion. Even though I still have to believe that eventually Jorgensen will become our number one because, yeah, he finished the season as a better goalkeeper in terms of shot stopping. There are areas where, let's use this, areas where areas where he did a better. What am I looking for? I'm looking for these goalkeepers. There are areas where he did better than Sanchez, and there are areas where Sanchez did better than him. So let's go. Let's go. Jorgensen. He actually pronounced his name as Jorgensen, so I'm not sure why I'm saying Jorgensen. What am I? Can I not spell now? But keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. This is Philip Jorgensen, one. So we want to add Robert Sanchez. So let us know, who do you think will be Chelsea's number one and why you think that's the case. Robert Sanchez at Chelsea. Okay. So Philip Jorgensen is in blue. Probably, is this last season? Yeah, 23, 24. So far this season, shot stopping, he's still toppling. Jorgensen is still toppling Robert Sanchez, and shot passes still toppling him. Defensive action, what's his name? Robert Sanchez is toppling him. Aerial, that's commanding your area. You can, Sanchez toppling him. Exits, Sanchez. So you can say it's 50-50 probably. But here's in for me, in my opinion, I think, yeah, Robert Sanchez has done well since the start of the season. You can argue he hasn't put the foot wrong. I know a lot of people will bring up that misplaced pass against Manchester City that could have led to Kevin De Bruyne scoring against us. But no, I'm looking beyond that. He's done well enough. He's looked calm on the ball. He's adapted to the way the manager wants to play effectively. Doesn't panic. And I'd say probably that's down to the arrival of Philip Jorgensen. He's upped his game a notch, in my opinion. And I think he will keep his place until probably he makes a silly mistake or two. And not one. I don't think one mistake will lead to the manager dropping him to the bench. So maybe if he gets injured and and I'm not wishing that happens, and Philip Jorgensen comes in and performs well, then the manager will have no option to continue playing him, even if Sanchez recovers. But it will take a lot for that to happen, irrespective of how you see it. But the good thing is that we have two good goalkeepers, irrespective of your opinion of as Robert Sanchez. Look at me using Vic's preferred language. No matter Fowler thinks Jorgensen, you have to elaborate. Why? Why did you say why are you choosing Jorgensen over let me know why you're choosing Jorgensen over Robert Sanchez. And by the way, people, go and check out Tepeho's YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. Let's help him get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. He's getting there. He's getting closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers. That way he gets monetized and be encouraged to do more and have the encouragement to do more. Anything else, Jorgensen, just you have to tell us why. Otherwise, I'm not going to pay attention to you. Jorgensen should be Chelsea's number one because he is better on the ball and he is a decent shot stopper. I think you could. One thing I agree with you is that he's a better shot stopper, even though what we looked at here shows, so far this season he's still. I don't like this because of this thing that pops up. Maybe I have to go pro. Let me go. Okay. That shows that actually, again, so far this season, he's proven to be the better shot stopper. And he finished the season last season as a better shot stopper. But I think aspects where the manager valued the most, Robert Sanchez, he's done better than him. But there's still time. It's still early days, in my opinion. Jorgensen should be the number one. Why? You just have to. You can't just tell us Jorgensen. You have to tell us why, Coach. You would sell Sanchez and make Buxton as how do you pronounce it? Is that Bergstrom or Buxton? Our number one goalkeeper. Some argument. Philip Jorgensen, and why? You can't just say Philip Jorgensen, but why? Um, yeah, he does have a lot. He does have a lot. Sanchez needs to do well. He's done well so far this season. I'm going to go back to telling you, I still hold the belief that eventually Jorgensen will become the number one. That may well not come to pass. That's just an opinion-driven statement. But so far, yeah, Robert Sanchez has looked good. He's looked like a top-class goalkeeper on the ball. Again, he has helped us with that a quick long ball that he found Jackson, and Jackson found Cole Palmer for that delicious finish. I think he's done well, and because he hasn't done a lot wrong. Yeah, let me just use that language and not say he hasn't put the foot wrong, because people will almost always bring up of that misplaced pass that fell to Kevin De Bruyne. We were lucky he didn't capitalize on that. Jorgensen is good. It's a good shot stopper. That's why he should start. Okay, let's see what happens. Big up to you too, Rich Money Makers. Nice to see you out there. Hope you're doing well. Todd has put pressure on Igbali to get experience as centre backs, but I believe we have a very good team. Okay, thank you for that information. We appreciate you. Let's see what else we have here. Both keepers have a high ceiling, in my opinion. You can argue, yeah, and that's dependent on the team's overall improvement. They both also share distinctive strength and qualities that make each of them useful at different times. Yep, I agree. That's a creative way to write that. Coach, again, he will. Okay, that's a bit jumbled up, and I'm not going to try stressing my brain to figure out what you're trying to say there. Lucas Bockstrom is a goalkeeper from Finland, and I know he's a Chelsea player, and he's the former Bolton goalkeeper region. Not only that, he reminds you of Van der Sar, Edwin Van der Sar in terms of height. Okay, and beyond that, I'm not sure. Rich Moneymakers is in the house, and that's by the way. So for me, I'm gonna say Sanchez. I'm not, but let me just use the poll. But I think yes, the issue I have with Paul, if I really want to do Chelsea's strongest 11 lineup, I think I'd do it alone. I wouldn't say that it would be devoid of my opinion. It still be, but when you use uh, when you use the poll here to complete such exercise, we'd have you can say an opinion driven outcome, which is usually not okay, in my opinion. But I think we'll do it anyway. Let's see. The goalkeeper for me, I would just plug in Sanchez there. But let's use the poll to hear people's opinion. While we wait for the poll to help us decide, you can ask any questions if you have any in the chat, and I will try to address them. If I cannot, I'll pretend I don't I haven't seen it. Um, Let me just do it. Goalkeeper. Sanchez. Yep. Let's go with that. And Jorgensen. I'm not sure the correct way to pronounce it. I seen him pronounce his name. He pronounced it. That's Jorgensen. But that's by the way. So I'm just gonna temporarily. Let me just plug in Jorgensen there because I think that's what people would choose. But left for me, I just plug in Sanchez there. All right. Cool. Let's see anything else there. Rich Money Makers, I've said hello to you. Cool as chance. And now go to the left back position while we wait for the poll to help us choose. It's 50-50 right now. Yep, Cucurella. I know what's his name? Renato Vega can fulfill that role, but right now, again, last season he played centrally as a DM. Hasn't played as a left back, so there's no way. Again, he'd be starting in the left back position over Marco Correa, except if Correa plays in the Premier League. then Philip Jorgensen, will get to play in Europe. I mean, irrespective of how you see that competition, it's a European competition. But despite that, I think Cucurella starts here. If you disagree, you let me know why. I don't think anybody disagrees. And here's the argument now. Right back position, before we start, before we discuss the center back positions. Just give me a few seconds here. I believe with a balanced team, when other departments are performing well, with teamwork awareness, Sanchez will come good. Jorgensen is just one that needs to get more playing time and adjust. I think that's I couldn't say it any better. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I don't think centre back. I'd rather him play as a lone six. I think he'd do well there. Reads the game very well. Puts in good tackle. Can be aggressive, and he is fearless, really. Mark Correa, very correct. You're getting better rich money makers. Thank you, and nice to hear that. Right back, that's where we have an argument. We have Malo Gusto. For me, during preseason, we had the opportunity to see Reece James fulfill the full back role, and we know how the manager wants that. In most cases, he'd invert at the right back. Reece James, for me, he struggled on occasions where he was invited to be here, and these guys are doing their thing further forward. Here. He left a lot of space here, and when it's again, and you can say, I don't know, he's not the quickest. He's an intelligent player, has excellent passing range, can be aggressive, can put in good tackles, can read the game very well too. But I think he lacks pace. Reece James, in my opinion, does lack pace. Maybe it took me a while to learn that that's the case. I don't think he has the pace. Again, during preseason, when he was deployed as right back and was instructed to invert, he struggled. He did leave a lot of space here that the opposition they exploited that on occasions, and we were lucky not to have considered too many goals when he was on the pitch, if you remember. But yeah. As much as I would rather Malo Gusto start in that position, I think Reece James arguably is our best right back. So irrespective of whether he's good at fulfilling the inverted fullback role or not, it only makes sense for him to be starting to be our starting right back, given his experience. And I think he's a better crosser than Malo Gusto. Malo Gusto, in my opinion, he's equipped to eventually become a better right back than Reece James. That is, whether that happens, I don't know. Let's see what else we have here. More likes. Yep, more likes, people. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. We have 32 likes, but we can do a lot better than that. Let's try and see if we can get it to 100 likes by the time the show ends. Let's see. And remember, this is the part one of the Chelsea Strongest 11 lineup show. We will go with this. We're going with the default structure. We know the application is different. Yeah, the application is a different thing altogether. We attack with 5 players at the same time, and usually one player, one of the 2 sixes comes central, while the other has the independence to be whatever they think fit. Usually Enzo Fernandez, if that makes sense. So let's see. Let's get the likes up, people. 32 likes. We can do a lot better than that, and we are. How many minutes? 1 hour, 3 minutes into the show. We can do a lot better than what we have on the screen. Let's be at the Chelsea engine room around Lavia and Casado, as Enzo has been struggling. I don't think Enzo this season has struggled. He's been one of I don't know how people see that guy. I don't buy for one bit, subscribe to the argument that Enzo is a bad player or Enzo is too slow for the Premier League. He's actually looked quicker. And let me tell you something. Enzo is actually quicker than what's his name? Than Cesc Fabregas was in his prime. What Enzo's footballing ability is defined by his footballing intelligence, vision, passing range. We've talked about that 1,000 times. I don't know why people are quick to judge him and say he's not a good player, not suitable for the Premier League. For me, that's absolute hush dunk. And I would debate anybody, anytime, any day. If anything, the argument I will again, Enzo is more of a register, or you can call him a deep lying playmaker. But one thing people don't know about Enzo is that the more he sees the pitch, let's assume this is Enzo. Let me just switch it to a 4-3-3 structure. I'll come back to that. Let's assume this is Enzo here. I will wipe out that so we can continue. I will erase that so we can. Let's assume that's him. The deeper he is, the more effective it be because his strongest tool is his vision. So as a deep line playmaker, the more he sees the pitch, the more effective it be. He'd help you control the game. He'd effectively, I get it. He's not the strongest in terms of beating the press. That's one thing I'd agree with. He's not the best in terms of beating the press. In that aspect, Romeo Lavia beat is the best we have at the moment. Whether the likes of Andreas Santos and Leslie Kuchiku, whether they are excellent at beating the press as much as Romeo Lavia is, remains to be seen. But my point is, for Enzo Fernandez, he's a deep line maker. You can call him a register if you want. The deeper he's deployed, the more effective it be. But the closer he is, listen. Let me just say this again: the deeper he's deployed, the more effective it be. Which again, because he's seeing the pitch more. The more he sees the pitch, the more effective it be. But if you deploy him closer to the final third, let's switch the structure to something like this: 4-2-3-1, and I have to erase this. If you deploy him here, where he's closer to the final third, the lesser he'd see the pitch, the less effective it be. You'd still see that his Obala is on the pitch, but because he doesn't see much of the pitch, he'd be less effective, if that makes sense. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't see that. I'm not sure what does they need to see to know that this guy is an excellent baller. He's actually one of the best midfielders we have. Yeah, if that makes sense. But yeah, let's see what else we have here. Um, More likes. Again, just saying hello to somebody there. Tamida is saying as much as I want Kuku to be a standby fullback. I also do not want Viega to be starved of playing time. I think Viega will play more. Again, in the midfield, or maybe whenever he's on the pitch, even if it's deployed in the left back position, he'd most likely again be inviting because yeah, he's good at reading the game and he's a defensive midfielder too, and he's a tank of a player. I also do not want Viega to be starved of playing time. That lad surprisingly might end up being more than a complimentary substitute. I think I agree, and some chances are he'll just at some point he'll become a constant in the midfield area, in my opinion. It, yes, people, please do like and subscribe and go check out my bro's YouTube channel. Bro, you know you can, while I'm busy hosting the show, you have every right to check out the comments so people can go check your YouTube channel. You know I love you, bro. You don't need to tell me. CFC in the house. Yep, GFC Gavin is in the house. Yep. Let's see, Coach. What's going on with Showa's future? I don't know. I don't know if the Turkish window is still open. I did read a report a few days ago suggesting that we're trying to push him to Turkey. I don't know whether that would be the case. But let's see. I'm just going to change this to name. I'll come back to it to fix it because we're not playing Enzo Fernandez there. The coolest chance is saying Benchua refused to learn Arabic. Let him learn. But in respect to him, the way he's handled the situation, he's not sponsoring because I do believe in most cases players sponsor the sort of things we see from the media. Just you can say to get the fans to turn against the club, in my opinion. And here, Tamida is saying that Chelsea team is a treasure in a raw potential. In a raw potential, yeah. From with time, they will all become targets to European club, but they are all in a very lengthy contract. It's not going to be easy to get them off of Chelsea. And I think, yeah, we have a very nice squad. And once things click, I think teams will fear playing against us. Yeah, look at what they were saying, how quickly they switched from Chelsea they could finish top four this season after that game against Wolves. Yeah, and had we been clinical against against Crystal Palace with half 6 points right now. I can't believe I'm saying that. Same thing we said last season, but I think we'd have a very good season overall, in my opinion. Big up Shanks, nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Anything else here? What else? GFC Gavin, yes, people go check out GFC Gavin's YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you so we can help him get to 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Natalini, you're not trolling today because you know your what's up. Your club sucks. Tadbali is the answer. He knows ball. Yeah, look at him. Look at him playing with us. So, right back, Reece James, for reasons we've explained, as much as I think Malo Gusto is a good player, if we're being truthful to ourselves, Reece James should be our starting right back. But I think in terms of the inverted fullback role, I think Malo Gusto so far he's shown he can fulfill that role better than Reece James. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying that's certainly the case. You have every right to disagree. So I'm going to go James, right back. But yes, people, keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. All right, give me a second here. And again, we're using this as just the default structure. We know the application is very different. We know that. So sometimes we see 4-1-4-1 and other structures. It would take a while for us to fully understand how the application of the manager's approach, if that makes sense. After this, we would do a 4-3-3 structure. You could say, we could just call this Chelsea's strongest Premier League starting 11. Then we'll do European starting 11. Just for us to have something to do. Yeah, news is scarce right now, except for the so-called civil war. A lot of people called it that. I don't think it is. I think it's just a business misunderstanding, and it happens all the time. I think they will. I think that we eventually settle their differences and move on. We have the okay. Yeah, you could argue that. Yeah. Okay, center back. Let's see. Wow, 73%. That's third. How many votes? 11 votes in total. Maybe give it more time. A lot of people think Jorgensen. I think in the Premier League, just as the manager have said, in my opinion, I'd still say Sanchez here as a starting goalkeeper for our strongest 11. In my opinion, you could argue if you like, you can bring up the argument that yeah, the arrival of Philip Jorgensen has made Sanchez even better. But we'll go with what the people want. Then, Coach, I feel it's a high time we start prioritizing the right back department. This need for us to look for a player in somewhat Viegas potential or standard who can quickly adapt and develop. I don't think we'll be. I think we still have. Is it what's his name? Achibong, the right back, the kid who can fulfill that role too. Whether he'd be able to invert is something I don't know. But we'll see. But I still don't think Jorgensen should be again in as strong as Premier League 11. Even the manager he said that Sanchez will be starting in the Premier League while Jorgensen starts in Europe. Just call it Europe. I get it. It's the Conference League, but I think it's Europe. So we're going with a 4-2-3-1 structure, but we know very well that the application is different. But keep dropping the lights on the stream, people. The lights do go a long way. Here's how I get it. A lot of people will say, don't start, what's his name? Fofana on the left hand side for the two center backs. Remember, we still do get multiple formations, if that makes sense. As one of them will have, we will need a left center back definitely. If he stays fit, I believe Fofana should keep a partnering Cole. Histon, I understand that, but I've told people I honestly do think we need Tosin in that central area of our defensive line. Why? Fofana and Levi Colwell, they have. You could say Levi Colwell, especially it'd be correct to say he has good potential. He has a potential to become one of the best CBs in world football, and but I think usually people are usually mesmerized because he has good passing range. Whenever he's on the pitch and he's playing well and we're passing, you can say we're keeping the ball very well. He comes across as an excellent defender. Defensively, for me, he still has a lot of issues. He's still not quite there. I think he'd get there. I think people are usually still under the influence of how good he is with the ball. If I look at me something as if that's if that's alcohol, they don't pay attention to the fact that defensively he still lacks, for me, a lot, in my opinion. Honestly, really, I think is poor. Really, maybe he will improve with time, but really, I think is poor. In my opinion, I think we need a Tosin in this defensive line. That's just my opinion. But let's plug in Fofana. Then I'll ask the question: who pairs Fofana? I don't think it should be Levi Colwell, but we will use the poll to decide. Uh, that's just my opinion anyway. I think we need the cool-headedness and experience of Tosin in that back line. And when I talked about that on X, it was Rodrigo Rodas who said, yeah. Again, immediately when he said that, yeah, I think that's actually the case. I did agree with him. He said whenever we concede a single goal, these two, that is, if you have Colwell here, they start panicking. Yeah, they don't come across as calm again. You see them everywhere because they've conceded. But Tosin, for me, is needed because of that cool-headedness experience. And Tosin, he might not be the quickest, but he reads the game very well. He's excellent on the ball. He has excellent passing range. He's excellent aerially. I know Fofana is good aerially, but Levi Colwell, not so much. That's just my opinion. Maybe over time he will improve in that aspect. But if we have, let's say we've sorted out the issue of our sixes, no, whether single six or dual six, not protecting our defensive line effectively, I wouldn't be starting Colwell. Yeah, because you need a strong defensive line. Given the fact that we still have issues, the sixes we start, they're not doing a good job at protecting our defensive line. So our defensive line gets exposed nearly every game. No matter how well we're playing, you see them get exposed every now and then. So until we have that, I will not be starting Levi Colwell for me because it's too much of a risk. We still need the cool-headedness of Tosin, in my opinion. But it's not up to me, so I will leave them here. But I'll still ask you who pairs Wesley Fofana, because I think Fofana starts. For me, he's showing good form. For a guy who's been out for the length of time he was out injured, I'm surprised at how quickly he's improving. Levi Colwell, yeah, if you're paying attention to his passing ability, you're not going to be able to look beyond that to realize that defensively he still needs to improve a lot more. That's just my opinion. And I know a lot of people are just going, the pairing is excellent and all that. I don't think it is, in my opinion. But let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. And this is saying, I am looking forward to see Sancho play in the and perform. I think Sancho will get to play. I think he will do well at Chelsea. But we'll talk about him when we get there. I think we have a problem selecting the three in behind the striker. Remember, this is not this this structure is not reflective of the application. Yeah, it's not. We know this. Usually, we see this structure, but usually the application is different. Yeah. Let's see what else we have here. Shanks is saying we will finally kill off matches, especially going into a draw in the second half. I think we'll be good. Yeah, we have excellent attacking players. What needs to improve is it the two sixes or maybe single six to do their job effectively in terms of protecting the defensive line. I think maybe the manager, again, it's up to him to figure out why we usually see a lot of space there. I think he will figure it out. He's a smart manager, in my opinion. And as Jamal is saying, Chelsea must combine shooting at goals as well as continue with the current style attacking the opponents. Yeah, we'll see. Shanks is saying, did I mention Sancho walks into? Yep, you said that before. And Tamida is saying that you're right, Coach Tosin. Yep, I've always believed and expected to be an integral part of the back lineup. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe it will take time, but I think we do need his cool-headedness, in my opinion. And thanks to Rodrigo Rodas for mentioning, yeah, how these two, they become shaky the moment we concede. Yeah, you see them everywhere, a bit confused because of lack of experience. You could say. Yeah. See what else we have here. Is saying maybe Maresca doesn't rate Tosin. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I think he rates him. I think Tosin will get a chance. Let's see. He doesn't have pace, but for me, I think he's one of the best CBs we have right now in terms of his passing ability to read the game. Or maybe I don't know. Before the season started, I was concerned because I know Tosin really well. I know how he leaves his defensive line to break up opposition play somewhere here. Sometimes even beyond the center circle, which leaves space here. For instance, if this is Tosin and is here, that leaves space here, and that can be means opposition can exploit that. Then I learned that the manager himself actually he likes defenders who are capable of doing that. You get the point now. So, but I'm not. I don't think that's an issue. I think maybe the manager, maybe he's. I don't know. We'll wait. I think his time will come. Just by the way, let's see. Here, it's saying Tosin is the best defensive player at the back over Fofana and Colwell. I've said that before. Yeah, and I agree with you totally. I think we need his cool-headedness. More importantly, I know he's not the quickest, but we need him there. I think he will lead that back line very well. I think that back line lacks leadership. The moment we concede, and thank goodness Rodrigo said that, it didn't occur to me that actually is the case. You see them panicking a lot. Let's say Fofana and the Sisi are supposed to be a colossal defensive force. If I had my way, I'd just shuffle between the Fofana, the Sasitos, and shuffling the defensive line could be problematic. The defensive line is the most difficult part of a team to assemble, and changing a single individual could mean you concede a lot of goals in the next game. Yeah. And I think we're actually seeing all these things because, again, our midfield, in terms of protecting our defensive line, isn't working as it should at the moment. Over time, I know the manager will find a good solution there, but we'll see. But the good thing, I think, what has helped us, what has masked a lot of the issues we have in the midfield area is the fact that we defend as a unit. We do press as a unit, defend as a unit. So it has led to us not seeing much of the issues we have. The lack of, inability of our midfield, the sixes or a single six protecting our defensive line. With Lavia on the pitch, though, the cases again, especially against Manchester City, to be more specific, that's the game he played. We see how well he did. City didn't have much joy beating our in midfield when he was there. When Lavia on the day when he wasn't putting in the tackle, he was occupying spaces that made it difficult for Man City to do some damage against us, if that makes sense. Let's see. Didn't he play against Servette? And we consider who exactly? Can you be specific? I'm not sure who you're referencing. I'm not because Tosin. Does that mean he's a bad defender? You know quite well that's not the truth. Because we consider because he was on the pitch, that doesn't mean he's a bad defender. As I'm saying, our defense look worse than it is. I'm not saying we're perfect defensively. The only argument I put forward is that the manager, I don't think he's found the perfect pairing. As good as the partnership of Colwell and Fofana has looked, I think we can do a lot better than those two. We need some cool-headedness there. We don't want a defensive line that panics whenever we concede. We have the god of fruit. Tosin doesn't get into the starting 11 of all the top 8. Okay, if you believe that's the case, that may well be the case. You're entitled to your opinion. Let's see what happens in the future. Yeah. Let's see what else we have here. Badishile out his Western most. I wouldn't say, you know how good he can be. Something happened after again he was out injured for a while. Set piece coach will improve. Yeah, I think it's taking him a while. I don't know, but because I don't know. I haven't seen anything that I say. Yeah, we've improved in terms of defending set piece, or maybe scoring for set piece. Mm. Maybe the corner kick. I think we've improved. We almost all the time, almost always, you have an individual positioned at the other end of the goalpost, ensuring that if everybody inside the box misses the ball, that we still have somebody to do something with it. At least that's an improvement. Usually, once everybody inside the box misses the ball, it just goes out. So a lot of people, 14 votes in total, 79%. That's a good sample size given how many people we have watching. 79% believe Jorgensen should be our starting goalkeeper. I disagree at the moment, even though I still hold that belief that eventually he will become our number one, but that's just my opinion anyway. So I want to ask the question: who pairs Fofana? Let's see. Okay, start a poll. Let me ask the question: who pairs Fofana? There you go. I was signed by adding Tosin there. Second one, Cowell. Another one. This Badishila, he's still here, so we have to add him. And Badishila is actually a good player, but something I think he's struggling with confidence. So if he can regain his confidence, I think he probably is capable of becoming a regular starter. But that's a small opinion anyway. Let's hear you. Chelsea concede goals because the midfield don't help the back four. That's a good argument. They're not doing much to protect the defensive line. So our defense, they've come across as, you can say, worse than they are. They're not. We have good. I think the manager probably was still. We could see things change in terms of our centre back pairing. That could change in the future, really. Give me 1 second here. Let me correct something. But we don't know. Or the partnership of Colwell and Fafana could prove to be, yeah, what we need. But I'm not going to judge them too much because they don't get much protection from the midfielders. So I'm not going to judge them too much right now. This is the coach turn on his son Fafana. Just give me one. Give me one. All right. Coach is finally learning. He's becoming one of us. The coach turned on his son Fafana and say he's not good enough. Yeah, I'm not saying he's good enough. I think Fafana starts for a reason I don't want to get into. Some will argue he's definitely going to be starting games given how much we paid Leicester City for him. But I think, yeah, we need him. But I'm just saying we need Tosin's cool-headedness in this defensive line, in my opinion. These guys, Fafana, had he played consistently since we signed him, he'd be experienced enough to be leading our back line now. But this defensive line lacks leadership. And I'm not going to buy the idea because of Reece James's experience. If he's fully fit, yeah, he'd lead the back line. No, for center back, that's just my opinion anyway. We need somebody in the central area to lead the back line, in my opinion. Whether Reece James is the captain or not doesn't matter to me. Leadership in terms of that's again defense and again being positioned centrally and reading the game very well. I don't know how else to phrase it, but I know you get the point. Let's see. Is Casede an 8? Mm. And in terms of his profile, you could argue. I think he has the qualities. He's equipped. He can fulfill the number 8 role. But you could say, is that sort of player that can fulfill the Enzo Fernandez? Does he have a vision that measures that of Enzo Fernandez? I don't think so. I think he can fulfill the 6 role, 8 role, but more of an 8 in my opinion. But I don't know him that well. Maybe there's someone else in the chat that knows him better than I do. I don't know Kisadeh that what to say, but from what I've seen, yeah, he can fulfill the 8 role. He can also fulfill the 6 role. Um, Right. Sometimes the application may not exactly be faulty, if only mindfulness, consciousness, and attentiveness throughout every game can be you started using those sort of words that I find very difficult to pronounce, can be inculcated. Yeah, inculcated. The defenders look inattentive and carried away a lot. I understand what you're saying there. I wouldn't say that. I think the issue I've seen with this pairing is if we concede, they usually start struggling. The two of them. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. My boys are awake, so it's a bit difficult to concentrate. But I totally understand what you're saying there. Inculcated, not no, fine. It's not. Okay. Zamalo is saying in the midfield area, let's build around Lavia and Casado, complemented by Felix as 10 Palma. Wow, some suggestion right there. I would start Lavia anytime, any day over Casado, but that's a small opinion anyway. Enzo needs to do the dirty work. He's actually doing well. If you want to know again, sometimes he's not the best. He's not the best defensively or tracking back. Doesn't have the pace in most cases to catch. If he's left to be the one to ensure that the opposition don't hit us on the break and get a chance to score a goal. Sometimes he can. He does not sometimes. He doesn't have the pace if he needs to run and catch up with a player. They can if the opposition is on the counter. He doesn't have the pace to catch up with the player he needs to catch up with and stop him from scoring. But if we have numbers and it's part of the pressing squad, he does well. He can win you balls in my opinion. But Enzo, his strongest tool is his vision, passing range. And he's a highly technical gifted player. He may not be the quickest, but if you bring up the argument that he's not good enough for the Premier League, I'll tell you, I get it. He has the potential to do better in the Premier League than Fabregas. I'm not saying he's better than Fabregas. And the last time I presented this argument, a lot of people were coming at me for comparing him. No, I'm not saying he is. He has the potential. Yeah, he's that good. In my opinion. Let's see. Enzo cannot dictate, and Casada is an 8, not to stay back midfielder. I want to see Lavia and Casada as a midfield. Enzo can dictate. You're lying there. You're not saying that he can control the game. Lavia and Casada, do I agree? Mavas, let's see what else we have here. Lavia would be a perfect ball winning midfielder. He is a perfect ball winning midfielder, but for me, actually, given what we have, he's actually more of an 8-2, in my opinion. But given what we have, I think he's the best we can do in terms of a single 6. He has the passing range, the intelligence, reads the game very well. can beat the press effectively. He can beat the press better than Casado and Enzo Fernandez. He's not good. And when he's not putting in the tackle, he's occupying a pocket of space, is making it difficult for the opposition to progress, if that makes sense, or to do damage against us. And the Prince is here. Nice to see you, the Prince. I hope you know why I say that every time I see you, the bunch. And that's how he likes to say that. Big up to you too, brother. Nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well, and thank you for joining us. I don't know if KDH played against Palace, if we would have won that game. We don't know yet. I think it will come good. I know a lot of people are giving up on him, and I'm gonna say something that Rodrigo's somebody I love so much, but his ball knowledge I appreciate a lot. I think he and I agree on a lot of stuff. He and I agree that Chelsea don't need us for reasons I've talked about 1,000 times. For instance, um, he said something, even though as funny as that sounds, that may well be the case. That KDH is still in awe or in shock that he's a Chelsea player. Probably will take him time to acclimatize and then start performing. I think he will. And I'm going to say this, I've said it before, he will end up being one of our best signings of the season. I get it. He started badly, but what people aren't considering whenever they talk about him is the fact that he joined our camp late during preseason and was nursing an injury. Even when he joined, he was training separately for a while. But people don't care. And you should hear Bobby talk about him. But I think it will come good. And somebody on X, I don't want to mention his name because if I do, I'm probably giving him the attention he wants. He's asking me, has he ever represented England? He had his best season as a player last season. Yeah. And I think he will get there. I'm not giving up on him because I know the sort of player he is and I know he will come good. But just by the way, Casade is a 10. Okay, I didn't know. Under Maresca as 10. Wow, I didn't know. Okay, I'll do a research. Because today is a holding midfielder, though. He can play in almost anywhere. Can also fulfill the 8 role. What usually better off as a hybrid of 8 and 6. That would suit him even more. Yeah, KDH is a good player. He needs time to adapt, but I hope he doesn't become. No, he will not. He's not going to become drink wine. By the way, his name is Drink Wine, not Drink Water. His name changed to Drink Wine when he was still on our books and wasn't playing for us and was earning a lot of money. So his name changed from Drink Water at the time to Drink Wine. Let's see what else we have here. Because today is Fabregas time. No. No, 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 no. As much as I think he's a good player, I'm not too sure about his passing range. Maybe I need to see him even more. And by the way, I haven't seen him enough to say for certain that's the sort of player he is, in my opinion. Because one thing is what the player's profile say, and more importantly, is how much you know the player, if that makes sense. So let's see. 77%. Okay. That's 13 votes in total. Levi Cowell to partner Wesley Fofana. Zero for zero vote for my boy Benwell Badeshile, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go Cowell there, Fofana there, just the way it is. 2 6s. I'm gonna go with Lavia here. That's not me saying that Casado is a bad player, but if we're gonna use it, you'd be using Casado in a way that once the application, once the game starts, this guy will be somewhere here or somewhere further forward. Let me say, if we're going by the structure, uh, where he becomes the guy sitting deep, and with Enzo Fernandez here with the independence to be wherever he deems fit on the pitch to help us to dictate the pace of the game or to keep us taken, for lack of a more specific language there. Oh, sorry, not 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. So I'm going to go Lavia here, and I'm going to go Enzo. And I think that's what we're going to be seeing mainly. Casado probably will be rotating with one of them. That's just my opinion. But we're still going to use. We will use the poll to decide to get. You can say the fans' opinion, not just my opinion. Anyway, he says Kachila KDH is much better as a cam in the 4-2-3-1 structure. I think I agree because if you go back when I was researching Maresca's approach um, with Leicester City's past games, I did see that in most cases, if they don't play with the 4-2-3-1 structure, what's his name, KDH is usually on the bench. Yeah, but every time they play the four with 4-2-3-1 structure, he's starting, and I think in the 10 row. So I think I agree, but I have to do that again to be sure that's the case. And we have 190 people watching, 36 of those on YouTube, the rest on the X. Just know, again, whatever you're following us from, we do appreciate you. And if you're following the show on X, thank you so much for finding the time to join us this particular morning. But we want to ask you for one favor, one tiny bitty favor, which is to take a second, drop a like on the video for us on X, share the video to help us reach more people, and follow our X account to help us reach 5,000 followers on X as soon as possible. Please help us do that. And that way, whenever we go live, you'd be notified and you're not going to miss anything. Zumali is saying, I agree. Enzo is a baller and has a great vision for long pass balls. Enzo is most effective only when he is in a position off the ball. Actually, he can do well. But chasing and dispossessing an opponent, Enzo needs help. Yeah, as a group, he does well. You just support him down again. Then he knows how to win back the ball. Marcus Rashford had departed Manchester United and is now. Are you serious? You're not joking, right? Wow. Are you, bro? Are you joking? Just let me know. My fear, maybe Maresca want to drop Enzo Fernandez. I don't think he likes him, actually. He does like him. All right. No, I don't think so. And stop mentioning the name of the owners. They don't dictate who the manager starts and doesn't start. And back from everyone come off X to hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much for saying that. Rich Money Makers! Rich Money Makers, I do appreciate you finding the time to join the show this particular morning. Thank you so much. Anything else? Rashford, no way, indeed. I don't think we can put Lavia and James and at 11 as both injury prone. They need they need to play at least 3 months without injury to build team around them. I'm not saying we're not building the team around them. We're just suggesting if we're talking about our strongest 11, we need Enzo Fernandez. I know a lot of people will bring up the argument that we don't need him. He's too slow and all that. Then probably you don't understand the importance of this man. For instance, but this guy, I think will find a way to manage his fitness. I think he will recover, probably stay fit for a while before he gets injured. And the good thing I like, you mentioned this guy and this guy here. The good thing I like about Chelsea right now is that we're cautious. We're trying to manage the load on the players. We don't want to overstress them. We don't want to burn them out. We don't want a risk of them getting injured and staying out for a while. And we have good enough players to be, you can say, rotating them to avoid that happening. Give me 1 second here. My boys are up, so it's difficult to concentrate. All right, let's see what else do we have here. Enzo's hold back. Enzo's hold back is defending and pace. I think I might be faster than him. Yeah, but I think pace doesn't define football. Intelligence is the first thing I look for in footballers, and he's a very intelligent footballer. And you can see, I don't know whether him leading the team as the captain has led to him doing a lot better than a lot of people believe he can do. But I know there's a good player in this. I'm not complaining. Let's see. I've asked the question. The poll has ended. So the question is, I'm quite sure the question will be, who pairs Romeo Lavia? Let's do that. Who pairs Lavia in the midfield? We have, yep, Caicedo and Enzo. I think most definitely Enzo. I probably, but I'm concerned that the poll will produce a result that, yeah, it'd be that it'd be Casado. I don't think so. But we're not too sure who's going to be rotating with who. Eventually, the manager will have to resign to rotating one of the two. But I think Lavia starts in the Premier League if he's fit, and then Casado in Europe, just like the manager he likes to put it. That's my opinion anyway. But let's hear you. I think we're gonna have a lot of work here. This place is where we struggle to conclude what's gonna happen. Eventually, we use the poll to decide. Here we know who keeps it, no question. Even though a lot of people again wouldn't want that to be the case, I think that's what it is. Given that the fact we didn't sign a number 9 that a lot of people would agree is better than Nicolas Jackson. But that's by the way. Let's see what the poll. I'm gonna wait for it a bit, and while we do that, see if anything new has emerged. 5 votes and 80% thinks it should be Casado. 20%. 20% Enzo Fernandez. Here's the thing. I think probably by the time uh, we end the poll, I think people will probably pick Casado over Enzo Fernandez. But I'll tell you guys, this will be no different from people wanting Philip Jorgensen to start. Whereas if you paid attention to the numbers and everything else, you'd know that Robert Sanchez will be starting over Jorgensen at least for a while, or maybe will be the number one goalkeeper at least for a while. I think it doesn't differ that much from the what we will get here. A lot of people probably will not pick Enzo Fernandez, but I think, in my opinion, of the midfielders we have, this guy is probably the most important player for Enzo Maresca. But the poll will end up suggesting Moises Caicedo. But we'll wait. I'm not going to fight it. If I want to win, that would be driven purely by my opinion. I'd do it alone, and I think I still do that. But yeah, let's see. Let's wait and see. Still, how many votes? 7 votes in total. It's 86% thinks it should be Moises Caicedo, and 40% thinks it should be Enzo Fernandez. And let me tell you this: if we start 266, comprised of Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia, I think we'll have problems controlling the game. I don't think we'll be able to control the game effectively because that's not what Lavia, as good as he is as reading the game, connecting the defense with the midfield and the attack. I think the best player at help again at controlling the game is Enzo Fernandez of all the 3 midfielders we have. If we don't have Enzo on the pitch and we have Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia, I think we'd struggle. And that's just my opinion. But I'm going to say this again. I know fully well by the time we end the poll, we will not have Enzo Fernandez here. But the same majority carries the vote. I would still do Chelsea's strongest 11 alone, and then get an outcome that will be driven purely by my opinion for me, which is better. But a lot of people don't pay attention to the importance of players, the numbers, their ability, the importance of a particular player to a team. I think they go by eye test or probably with what a lot of people believe should be the case. Okay, let's see. We have EPL Tough is saying Casado provide a defensive guarantee. Enzo doesn't, but Enzo. Let's talk about this again. I'm gonna say this. I think we've talked about this a 1,000 times. Even with this structure, Enzo isn't again. Usually this guy comes central, and Enzo almost always has the independence to be wherever he deems fit on the pitch. He has a free role. He has the freedom to be wherever he deems fit on the pitch, and never here. Usually, because this guy would be the guy to sit back and protect, and would be charged with the responsibility of protecting the defensive line, connecting the midfield, and the attack. And this guy's job is to make sure whenever this guy here has the ball, he provides extra passing lane, either on the left hand side, right hand side, or maybe further forward. So usually you don't usually even if two of them are on the pitch, you don't see them stationed like this for the duration of the game. No, this guy almost always has the independence or freedom to be wherever he deems fit because that's his game. And usually in deeper positions, he can be here, he gets the ball, finds someone here from that position to here. That's his job. But a lot of people aren't paying attention to that. In terms of long ball, orchestrating long passes, he's the best we have in this team. Maybe Levi Colwell may well be better than him in terms of, again, his passing ability. I don't know, but I'm not going to get into that. But my point is, this guy, a lot of people, they underestimate him and don't understand his importance in the team. Honestly, but that's just my opinion anyway. It, let's see what happens there. What was I reading? I was on EPL Tough's comments, which is this one in particular. He says Casado provides defensive guarantee. Enzo doesn't. Yeah, but Enzo isn't starting there to provide defensive guarantee, although he contributes the best he can, in my opinion. More likes, people. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. EPL Tough. Enzo is not a 6. Yeah, we know he's not. Forget the structure. We've always said pay attention to the application. Yep. For instance, if we're talking about a 4-3-3 structure, he'd be here. And so this guy probably central, another guy to the left. But you get the point. But in this structure, that's why I call it the starting structure. The application shows a different thing altogether, if that makes sense. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, just having a good conversation there. In the UEFA Europa Conference League games, I want to see KDH at a central attacking midfield role with a Sancho on the left wing. I think Sancho may well get a chance to be starting in the Premier League, but we'll see. It's not my decision to make. I think we need to switch the window to something like this so we don't cover what we have there. We needed to Lavia and Casa. We don't need to. I think we need one defensive-minded player and one attacking. We need more players in the attack, and I don't see the manager starting two defensive games, especially when we play against teams that defend deep. Maybe against teams that can hurt us badly. Maybe you see Casado and Lavia on the pitch at the same time. If you're deploying them for defensive purposes. But that's a small opinion anyway. KDH is a central attacking midfielder, not a double pivot player. But if he starts at a double pivot player, pay attention to the application. Does he sit deep, or does one of the guys here, the guy on the right hand side, or whoever it is, doesn't matter whether on the left or on the right, does he sit deep, or is he the one that has the independence to be wherever he deems fit on the pitch? But that's, by the way, we have Bobby in the house. Let's get his opinion. Bobby, big up to you. Haven't seen you in a while. I do hope you're doing well. Always nice to see you. And by the way, we have 37 likes. We should be doing a lot better. 192 people watching in total. But only 33 on YouTube. The rest on the X. We appreciate you all. Please and be sure to follow our X account to help us get to 5,000 followers as soon as possible. Bobby, you will see how far we've come on the lineup building exercise. We're picking Chelsea's strongest 11. We used the poll to decide the goalkeeping position, and people selected Jorgensen by 70% plus of the vote. CBs, I want to toss an in there. They still picked Levi Colwell. Left back and right back, we don't have issues there. But here's where I want to bring you in. The 2 6s, don't mind the structure. We know the application shows something different. But most cases, we've seen this as what I call the starting structure. Again, before you start speaking, more importantly, I do hope you're doing well. What do you make of the players who selected so far, whether you have questions anyway?
Coach, big up, Coach. I kind of stayed away from a lot of chat forums when people were trying to create some more issues with Chelsea.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it's just they always have to do something like that. You know, Chelsea's there and they want to shoot at us, and so I
Hmm.
said, "No, I'm not listening to this BS," and I just switched off. But yeah, I always back with the proper perspective. That's what I'll be calling you from now on, the proper perspective.
Much
Um,
appreciated,
good.
brother.
Coach, honestly, the 260s, that's what you want to talk about. I just have to quickly say that, honestly, yes, I get it. People want to see Jorgensen, and Jorgensen, I think, will become a very, very good goalkeeper. But, you know, I keep it real as much as I can. And I have to say that so far, Sanchez has done nothing wrong. And
I,
that
I
number
I said
one,
the same thing too. Go ahead, Bobby.
yeah, you know, great minds think alike. You know, that number one position is his to lose. And he hasn't done anything to lose it, to be honest. And if this sort of pressure is what gets the best out of him, so be it. We've got two great goalkeepers and we're going to need them with the competition, especially when we get back in the Champions League. We're going to
Hmm.
need these guys. So, moving on from that, the pivot, that's the issue. I think our issue very much is the midfield, even more so than the attack or even the defense. Um, what do we say? Now, from what I'm perceiving, I think Maresca wants a fluid, mobile, interchanging midfield. That's why he seems, and I may not be right because he himself is still in development in terms of the team, but he seems to favor not having a particular DM specialist. And this is why, in a way, Chelsea's financial outlay for midfielders has sort of dictated the team. And it makes sense. No sensible businessman wants to waste money. He bought two players of extreme quality, or they bought two players of extreme quality, and they want someone who can make their investment work. So the midfield will always be a trio. I'm so glad that Carney Chukwumeka's back in the squad. I think initially he may be more for the Conference League, but I think he's a player when he's fit. He will prove his ability such that I think Enzo would have to, in terms of Enzo Maresca, would have to be a very foolish man not to start to bring him into the Premier League. But time will come, and at his age and at his stage of development, I think this is perfect for him. The Conference League, get his legs stretched, get him his fitness back, and get him building up confidence in him by the coaching team, and then we stop all this nonsense about, oh, we're going to sell Carney. It's just madness, totally irresponsible. You develop Carney, you don't sell Carney. He's such a good player. So
And I think if you're good, you're good. The manager will have no option than to play you. You just have to
exactly,
prove you. Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
and that's why he retained him anyway. He must have looked at this guy in training and thought, whoa, wait a minute, what are we doing? You know. So that aside, Carney will be there. I've noticed you put Lavia. Interesting.
Yeah.
I hope he's fit.
No, no, I'm
And then-
saying we're saying this is just us speaking our strongest 11. Because
Okay.
here's the thing. Let me. Do you want me to explain my reasoning for putting Lavia there?
No, don't, because I would have said the same thing.
Okay. Here's the thing. The reasoning is between him, Enzo Fernandez, and what's his name, Moises Caicedo.
Can
He's better
rotate.
at beating the press. You can
Yeah.
argue he's a better dribbler than the other two. And he reads the game better than the other two, in my opinion. And if you paid attention when he was on the pitch against Manchester City, when he wasn't putting in the tackle, he's occupying pockets of spaces
Yeah. And the
to
good
not
thing
allow
about
Man
it,
City to do a damage against us. But go ahead, do some damage against us. But go ahead, what you were saying.
is that you know, he if he's fit, please God that he is, he hasn't gone on international break. He will actually need a few hours of game time, and Caicedo, who has gone on international break, will need less hours of game time for that
And
return
remember something
engagement.
you mentioned about Casado. He takes time.
It takes time, but returning
Yeah.
from internationals, so that we don't have that international break issue, if you start Lavia and then maybe change him for Caicedo, It's perfect. So I get it. Lavia and Enzo. Okay, Enzo Fernandez. Okay, but I would rather Lavia and another. Who that another is, I'll be brave. I'll be very brave, and I'll say Carney. You know, I'm a fan. I'll say Carney. Let Enzo and Caicedo come off the bench because they. You see, this was our downfall post internationals. These guys will go halfway around the world. They'll come back and they will struggle, or they struggled in terms of playing to the intensity that would be required. Now, our next game is who? It's either Brighton or is it West Ham
Bournemouth, I think.
or Bournemouth? Whoever. You know, there's no easy games in the Premier League, and Bournemouth in particular, with fewer people out on international break, are going to have a team preparing for this game. So we need all those that stayed back to be preparing for them as well. So where I'll differ with you will be I would put Lavia and Carney and have Enzo and Enzo and Caicedo off the bench.
Hmm. I didn't have Carney in the poll, but I think probably a lot of people would have still picked Casado. I don't know why. I think Bobby. I don't know if you get my argument. I wouldn't even mind Lavia and Carney because Carney can fulfill the Enzo role.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
he can.
And he's there training with
Yeah.
them.
Um,
So
yeah. So, but I don't like the idea of we're playing. Let's assume we just keep calling this the starting structure because the application is very very different. With it's like the difference is like day and night. But my issue is I don't think we can have Casado and Enzo here and still be effective. I think we cannot control the game. Casado's not that good at it's not good at that. Maybe he does better defensively, but without Enzo on the pitch, I'd rather see Carney there. With
absolutely, I'd
yeah,
rather that
with the
than
free roll. Yeah, with the
your
free
son.
roll. Yeah, go ahead.
I'd rather that than your son, KDH. I can't see. You know,
Accusation,
okay, that's
accusation, Bobby. But go
Drinkwater
ahead.
2.0. You know, I
No, no,
can't
no, no, no,
see.
no, 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 no.
No,
I think
well,
KDH
that's
will prove. But go ahead with what you were
yeah.
saying.
He needs to prove me wrong, but right now, for me, he's Drinkwater reincarnated, and I don't feel him at all. I think, wow, Kaisei, Carney and Lavia, wow, they'll take some shifting in that midfield. Honestly, I think it'll be
Yeah,
sensational.
I don't expect Carney to do much defensively, so that's why I'm saying
Oh, but
in
he
the 4-2.
does.
No,
He
but it's
does.
this. That's okay. My opinion is this: it's not his thing. That's not his strongest suit, in my opinion. I
Hmm.
think he would be again if we have Carney here. He'd be the one with the independence of freedom to help run the midfield. But Lavia will eventually come central, even allowing space for this guy here, whoever starts here, to invert into the midfield and make up numbers there because Maresca's approach is mainly about overloading areas on the pitch. More importantly, irrespective of how you see it or not. But let's see what happens here. I don't know. I'm gonna leave this as it is. I don't believe for a second would see Enzo, would see Lavia and Casado starting together, especially if we're playing teams that defend deep. If the focus is to not allow the opposition too many spaces, maybe the two of them. But I don't think. I think if Enzo isn't on the pitch, I think we have issues controlling the game. That's just my opinion. And I don't know. A lot of people, we see football differently. A lot of people think we don't need him. But I get where you're coming from, Bobby. I wouldn't mind Lavia and Carney. Carney being the guy with the freedom to be whatever he deems on the pitch. Because the role, yes, and if you pay attention, whenever we start with this structure, one person usually comes central, and the other person is usually the guy that provides extra passing lane whenever any of our player has the ball. But let's just go with this structure. For me, I will leave this as it is. I'll still let the poll run. Bobby, let me ask you the number 10. I think it picks itself. That's the easiest of the positions we'll pick this. We will pick this morning. I think where we'll have a lot of difficulty. You can say leaving a player out of starting one is here and here, in my opinion. But number 10 row, Bobby, let's hear you.
For me, Palmer.
Definitely
Palmer,
Palmer. No question. Yeah, go ahead.
and on the right, oh, that's an interesting one because
Yeah, that's where
okay,
it becomes tough.
yeah,
On the right, we have Neto because Neto for me prefers playing on the right, in my opinion. Then we have Madueke, right?
hmm.
We have Neto and Madueke, the two of them. So it's not that simple, really.
Well,
Yeah, let me just yeah, go ahead.
I would say um, it's interesting, very interesting. I would
Mhm.
say Neto's gone on international break, hasn't he? And it
Yeah,
depends
but
how
we're
much.
not picking the lineup for the next game. We're saying our strongest 11
Oh
for the
right,
season.
oh right.
Yeah,
For the season, I will go for Madueke. I like
really.
that kid. I will go for him. Yeah, I think that kid is developing, and I think this is not the time to stop his development. He's not fashionable. You see, we pick a lot of our football mentality on fashion. I remember back in the day when people were always talking of during the England golden generation, they were always, oh, David Beckham, David Beckham, David Beckham, yada 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 yada. And I would say, look, do you know who the best midfielder is for Man United and for England? But nobody ever talks about him. It was Paul Scholes. He wasn't fashionable. He doesn't look as good, as a short guy, a bit tubby. But boy, was he a baller. So I don't go for the fashionable players. I go for the good players. And I think Madueke has a lot to offer. Obviously, he will be highly pressed on that wing with the likes of Neto, but Neto can play either right or left. It doesn't really matter. He could even share the field with him. And then of course you've got João Felix who can come off the bench for number 10, right wing, left wing. I think he's better on the right and as number 10. So we have that depth to play with. But to start with, I would go Madueke on the right.
Maybe that's a comment, a very nice comment. I know you'd like.
What's that? I think Maresca's still fighting out, still figuring out midfield. Oh,
Not that
first
particular
man
comment. You just have to look.
on
You
lineup
see
in
it.
front of his KTH, please. Hey, please.
And
Drink
that's from
water.
Jay.
Yeah, he knows I have no time for that player. I have no time.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious, really. But
I
yeah,
don't
he
like
knows
hype.
how you feel about KDH. Go ahead.
I don't like hype. I don't like people. There's that saying, "Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining." I don't like people trying to get me to see what isn't there because that's what they want you to see. I'm very cautious of that. I've watched this guy. I've
You're
watched
actually
him.
accusing me, Bobby. You're accusing me of trying to get you
No,
not. To-
no, it's all good. We all have our opinions. We all have our opinions, but I've watched this guy and I'm like, nah, no, I can't see what will change here. And I'm hoping to be wrong. I really am. I really am. But when I watch him, I watch Drinkwater 2.0. I really did. And I'm like, what did we just spend money on? Why? For what? And we keep Carney on the bench? It's
You don't
insane.
think you're judging him too soon, Bobby?
Oh, I think do you remember Sao Niguez when he came?
Yeah, I remember Saúl Ñíguez. Yeah,
He took one
from
match for everybody.
we got him on loan from Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, he took one match for everybody to know what he was about. That's how I feel about this guy. Now, Niguez, we hoped and prayed that he would improve, but he never did. Now, that doesn't mean to say KDH can't improve, but that feeling I had when I saw Niguez is how I feel with him right now. But he can change my mind. I hope so.
I hope he does. I think he's a good player. And remember, I'm saying this. I don't just back players like that. I think he will eventually prove one of our most important signings uh, this past transfer window, in my opinion. But Jay, nice to see you, Brad. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show this particular morning. It's still 8 a.m. for me. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. We have a total of 39 likes. Let's try and get it to 40. We still have 203 people watching, but only 37 of those on YouTube, the rest on X. And if you're following the show on X, we do appreciate you, but we want to ask you for one favor, which is to take a second and drop a like on the video for us, and also do subscribe to do follow our X account and subscribe to our come over and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And those of you quickly who are following the show on YouTube for one reason or the other, you're not able to participate in the chat. Just know that we appreciate you, and that's because you following the show alone does go a long way. But we want to ask you for one favor, which is to drop a like on the stream for us, and also do subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't. Thank you so much. Without wasting much of your time, catch up on what we have. Let's see, talk about the left wing. Um, um, yes, Maresca and Rich Moneymakers, nice to see you once again. Maresca on the right wing to assist him build on his momentum. Then Neto as a substitute for Maresca. I think Neto will be starting. If Neto doesn't start on the right, then definitely he's going to start on the left. That's a small opinion. And let's see what else we have here. Why don't you like KDH? Bobby has issues. He hasn't. You can say he's had a difficult start to life as a Chelsea player. So it's clear a lot of people are. You can say I'm concluding. I wouldn't say Bobby has concluded, but because he agrees, chances are he'd still improve. He'd still prove him wrong. But Bobby's argument at the time, mainly you can argue, was driven by the fact that Carney wasn't in the squad, and rumors at the time were circulating that the club wanted to sell him, and it could be sold. So Bobby wasn't happy, and that's a good argument, really, because Carney, so to speak, is an excellent player. If you know him, you know he can be good. So Bobby doesn't hate KGH. I know you didn't say hate, but his argument is sensible. The guy didn't say hate, to be frank. KDH is not even young. He's 26. I get his age. His age is not the biggest problem. I
Yeah.
think what I want you to consider, and I've had that conversation with Bobby. And Bobby, one thing I like about him, if tomorrow KDH, let me put it in Bobby's own terms, if KDH starts ripping up trees, Bobby will be the first to say, yeah, I made a mistake. He's a good player. I think he's a good player. And I've seen somebody, I don't want to mention his name, because for me, he's seeking attention, saying, has he represented England? And I wanted to respond and ask him, yeah, his first ever season was last season. So probably England are still watching him. If he starts ripping up for trees at Chelsea, he'd get a chance. And that's just my opinion. But I understand where you're coming from, EPL tough. Don't compare KDH to Saul. You have to say why. Madueke has played with Cole Palmer for years and won a championship, a dual unlocked. And you could argue that's another argument, Bobby. That justifies your argument that Madueke starts. If Cole Palmer is starting in the 10 role, and hopefully we see more of what we did see
Ma-
against Wolves, where
yeah.
he could have had 4 assists for him, actually. But go ahead, what you're saying.
Madueke has an excellent relationship with Cole Palmer, and it's getting better.
And
What people
you
haven't,
can add Sancho to that.
yeah, Sancho as well, but Sancho not so much in recent times because they haven't been playing that much together.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Madueke and Cole Palmer quite recently certainly in the underage competition for England, they were very much playing together. And when England won that, is it under 17 or under 18 World Cup? They were teammates, and they were the main reason for that. But going back to KDH, I don't hate KDH. The issue is I don't want to see my club
I sorry,
make
nobody
silly
said hate. It was my
decisions.
fault. I used the
No, no,
word
no,
hate.
no, no.
Nobody in chat said hate. Yeah.
I'm just sort of underlying the extreme. I don't want to see my club make stupid decisions. Now we've got a kid, and we are a young team who has proved himself. Carney proved himself in that sort of position. Then suddenly we import this guy who was all hype and came on the pitch and was hype. That just puts us in a position of weakness. And I don't want us in a position of weakness. I want us in a position of strength. That's why I was against him. Now Carney's around. I hope Carney's utilized. And I hope his presence ups KDH's game. It could only be good for us. And both of them could only be good for us and good for England, really, if you want to look at it that way. So,
Yeah.
it's not a personal thing. It's a Chelsea thing.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree with you. And this guy saying, Bobby, this is a good joke, and I like it. Bobby had difficult stats since his boy Gallagher left. No, Bobby was one of those saying, if you're surplus to requirement, you're surplus to requirement. Bobby didn't like, you can say, the fight within the fan base at the time, and some for and some against Gallagher's departure. I think it was ugly, unnecessarily, and the kid himself, if you've listened or maybe read the transcript of his most recent interview with regards to his time at Chelsea, he's grateful, and you could see that he spoke wholeheartedly, no pretense, being thankful to the club. He enjoyed his time, he had the opportunity and all that. But us Chelsea fans, we were the one making it to make that made it into what it wasn't really. But that's by the way we're moving from that particular comment there. We need experience. I think we have enough experience now. What we need is just for the whole thing to click. KDH is a very high quality player, and he will show it as time goes on. I think he's a good player, but people has every right to question whether we've made the right signing, and it's up to him now to prove them wrong, and I think he will. And yeah, I think it was my fault. And nobody used the word hate there. I remixed somebody's comment, and yeah, but after listening to KDH, I believe he will work hard to become a top player. I don't. Here's the thing: as much as I think he will come good, I'm not the sort of person that conclude that a player would do well because of what they tell me. I'll go over what I already know about the player and analyze their situation and see what could be responsible for them not performing at the level at which I believe they should be performing. I don't go by by what they tell me. I've said that already. So you understand my point. Like I said, they and Carney are better than KDH in your opinion. Yeah, and you're entitled to your opinion, up to you, but I disagree. He's more experienced, maybe. Whether he's better or not better, I don't know. We'll find out. KDH spent most of his career in championship and lower. Really? Do we need experienced player from a Nations League, Nation League? Houston. Uh, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie Vardy was signed from the championship. And what did he do in the Premier League? So I don't think that's a good criteria to use to measure or how good a player is, in my opinion. It doesn't. No, I would disagree. I beg to differ. We could have used the KG 30 million on Jean Duran, signing at different profiles and striker position. The manager wanted KD8, and I think it will come good for him. Big up to you too, Ty. Nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you joining the show. Sancho, let's wait and see. I think it will come good. And let's talk about Sancho a bit, Bobby. A lot of people were questioning the signing of the player. And then during a presser, the manager was asked a question with regards to our interest at the time. We hadn't signed him at the time on Sancho. And he said he did speak about Sancho, how well he knows him. And I think he did say something, maybe after the signing, he did say something to the effect of, yeah, that's the sort of player we want. The sort of player that can play on either flanks and central and can be used as false nine, which means he okayed the signing. And I've always told people I don't see a world where you sign a player without the manager okaying the signing. Otherwise, you cause some problems. Sancho, meanwhile, more importantly, the reason I wanted to talk about him in detail, maybe, or at length, maybe, is the fact that he's only had issues at United. At City, people knew at the time he was a brilliant talent. and he wanted to be playing. That was why he had to leave City to join up Borussia Dortmund. And at Dortmund, he was on fire for them. The United signed him, and I've seen people complain that he has attitude issue. I don't see it that way because there's no pattern here to justify that argument. At Dortmund, they love him. They never complained about his behavior. They had to sell him at the time because they had, you could say, mouth-watering offer from Manchester United. They sold him. And given how much they bought him for, they made a lot of money. And when he went back on loan there, he was on fire too. He helped them reach Champions League final. Then he correct me if I'm wrong. And I've
Coach,
listened
co-
and I've listened to Thierry Henry talk about him. Say Charles
I,
Sancho as United that something was wrong mentally for him at United, and
no,
he did fall out. But go ahead with what you were
I,
saying.
I want to add something here because this is where the football media propaganda comes in, and why, like in most things in public life, you need a hold in media because media pushes your story out there and makes you heard. And whether it's right or wrong, you can be heard for the right thing and you can be heard for the wrong thing. Someone like you, you're an American, you know all about that. You're having your elections and you know the BS that's coming out of many quarters. I won't go into that, but
Mm-hmm.
so, it's media. Media is the one that does this. Now, Man United have a lot of media. Let me tell you, in defense of Jadon Sancho. Not just that because now he's a Chelsea player. You've said it right. There is no pattern there, and it's like he did to Donny van der Beek. I'm still talking about this because Donny van der Beek was a kid that came from Ajax. He's a Dutch kid, and they have no voice in English media. What they have done to that boy's career is totally unacceptable and is criminal. Man United have destroyed this boy's career. They brought him, he was a young budding talent. They crippled him and stuffed him in the stands. Now tell me Van der Beek has attitude. He has no attitude. They will tell you he has, but he has no attitude.
Yeah, to
He's
justify, you can say that how they treating him.
how they've treated him. Now media talks, oh, Chelsea and what's his name? um, Raheem Sterling, yada yada yada. Raheem Sterling's fine. Look where he is now. He's fine. He's happy. But nobody wants to really talk about that. The Arsenal fans are saying, "Oh, he's this great, grand, glorious, wonderful guy." Well, if he was that brilliant, he wouldn't have left Chelsea in the first. We wouldn't have dumped him in the first place. He misses hatfuls. He did it for City. He did it for us. We have a young team. We don't need that. Bye. He can go and do whatever he thinks he can in Arsenal. So it's all hype. It's all how they want to portray you. It's all how they want to paint you out to be. Now, I didn't put, another situation. I didn't particularly like all the carry-ons with Osimhen. I have my opinion, both to his detriment and indeed to the
And,
detriment of
and in terms of us, did you later hear that we offered him something better than what are they called?
the where he's gone
Something
to
with
now.
yeah,
Than
later on, because
Galatasaray.
if you remember
Yeah,
what
I
I said in
mean,
the group, that a lot of lies are flying around with regards
yeah.
to how much we offered him. But go ahead
I
with what
mean,
you were saying.
ultimately, he's a silly boy. But he's a young boy. He was surrounded by the wrong people. He was right to fire his agent. I think his agent worked against him. I
And
think
that's telling.
Napoli. I think Napoli worked against him. What Napoli did is incredible. And of course, his own greedy-eyed monster, a kid from nowhere, suddenly you're throwing all these figures at him. He's going to start thinking of the money. He had nobody to put their arm around him and say, listen, son, you've got time for all this. Get out there, make your name, become that player that you are. And let me tell you, the field is open for him. He's not like he's some South American player that's used to getting world accolades. It's only recently that African players are beginning to get world accolades, and the likes of George Weah, Didier Drogba, and so on, beginning to make that continent in terms of football look as respectable as it should be. Now he had the opportunity to walk that holy path. He probably still has. It's not yet over. He's still young, but he's being ill-advised. I personally think if somebody really wanted to, they should have told him, focus on your football, go to Chelsea. It's a young team. You could be king there. Build up your career. And then you put the zeros on whatever figure you want. Even when you're old and retired and you can barely walk, people remember what you did in the past and pay you money. That's how football works. So, but the media made out too much that it was him saying, "Oh no, I don't want to change on this position. I won't take a penny less from on my wages and all that sort of malarkey." I don't believe that came from him. I think that came from his agent. I think he would have been
Yeah,
persuaded
the
to
firing of
say,
his agent is telling. It
"Yeah,
says a lot, irrespective of what we think of the situation. Whether you believe it was he was reluctant to join Chelsea because he wanted more money or was asking for £500,000 a week. The firing of his agent says tells me that yeah, his agent was the reason why he
it
didn't get
didn't
his
happen."
wish.
Now,
Yeah,
maybe in January we can go back. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to end, but we'll see. However, back to Jadon Sancho, I think this team is for Jadon Sancho, and he knows it. Any young player, you've got to be one heck of a bad young player to walk into this team and not be able to make your mark. They're your peers. You have every opportunity now to be the man amongst this team and to make your mark. And I think people may end up being surprised as to how well Jadon Sancho may do. I mean, I had my reservations, I still do, but the way I'm seeing it now, I'm beginning to understand why they put him in. And we were talking about left wing, right wing. Well, he's somebody that can do both as well.
yeah, Bobby, go ahead. Can you talk about the fact that he's from London? How important is it? Let's be honest here. I think he's joined the club and probably he'll have a settled mindset because he's home.
Mm.
I'll let you speak. I'll be back just in a
Yeah,
minute. Let me take care of something. I want to make sure the outside gate is locked. I don't want the boys to run outside. I'll be right back.
yeah. I mean, football, football is a culture. It's about tribes. It's about, football garnishes so much loyalty and following, if you like, from the fans that you've got to be in it to understand it. Jadon Sancho is a London boy, born and bred. He is a Chelsea fan. These things are not really, I mean, even when you're a player, yes, it's your bread and butter. You play the game. You go out to win for whichever shirt you're wearing. Yes, but somewhere in the back of your mind is that little boy who will switch on the TV and look for Drogba, look to see Chelsea winning trophies. And even though you're wearing another shirt and they're your opponent, when you are in that other shirt and maybe you don't win with that shirt, but you see them win, you're like a little bit pleased. Now, for any player, and I believe every player, especially a young player, to come and wear the shirt of the team he supported, it means a lot. And their attitude towards it is a lot different. Now, Conor Gallagher, yes, he came through the academy, that helps. But he and his family are Chelsea fans. And you can see from even when he went to now he's gone to Atletico, he wants to still feel welcome at home. And he will never forget that upbringing of his football career, the academy and the club he loved. He came out, he wore the armband of the club he loved. I think that matters a lot. So for Jadon Sancho to be a Chelsea fan and to be playing for Chelsea, I think it's a bonus in this young team. And I hope, just like every other one of us, that he is able to really finally express himself in the Premier League at Chelsea. Where's
Yeah,
coach? Right, you're
yeah. I'm
back.
back. I'm back. I'm,
So you're gonna,
I'm back,
I don't
Bobby.
do this hosting stuff.
No,
Okay.
what I did was just I had to go lock the front gate
All right.
because the other day my father-in-law took out the trash uh, cans, and wasn't able to lock it properly. He ran out. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I just looked at the camera, then I saw somebody, and I got an alert that somebody, the camera detected someone, and I looked, he was
No,
already across the road, and the
lock that
neighbor,
gate.
yeah.
Lock that gate
So
because this world is not a safe place. You don't leave your children. They still
yeah,
carry them and they disappear. So yeah, keep your gate locked for sure.
yeah, and it's not something I could hide from. I was able to hide from my wife because she had access to the cameras too. So we was. I don't want to get into what she said about Chelsea and the channel, but that's by the way. Yeah, KDH is an upgrade on Bakayoko, and that's all I am concerned. You should be, but let's see what happens. Then why Van der Beek did not do well on loan? Can we also say we destroyed Danny Drinkwater's career? No pattern. You can. I don't know. No pattern in his case. He was a nice individual. Maybe I
No,
think we
no, no,
signed
no,
him.
no, 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 no. They don't try that. They shouldn't try that one. Danny Drinkwater had more than enough opportunity on the pitch to show what he could
No,
do.
I'm not saying about whether he
No, I'm
does
not
well. I know he
talking about.
wasn't. He didn't do well at Chelsea. That's not my argument. I'm just saying he was a nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
Beyond,
about being a
yeah,
nice guy,
yeah.
is
But
it?
go ahead.
You
Go
know,
ahead.
he wasn't robbed of opportunities. He wasn't isolated until he chose his talent or his or lack thereof got him isolated, not the other way
Hmm.
round. Donny van der Beek was a kid that needed to be put on the pitch to develop. He was neither of that happened to him. He was not played, he was not developed. I think that's two very, very different things. And for anybody to try and give Man United a get out of jail card for that, no, it's not acceptable. They could have sent him out on loan. Why did he at least Chelsea sent Drinkwater out on loan? Donny van der Beek was just stifled at Man United. That's criminal. That's cruel.
Yeah. Here we have Mansa Musa. Nice to see you. He says Sancho and Neto can play on both flanks. Sancho is perfect for the left wing, left forward, so to speak. Position to break down low blocks. He's an excellent dribbler. Doesn't shy away from taking on the opposition player. Congratulations together. We stopped Osimhen to Chelsea. I didn't start a campaign, but I did argue several times why I don't want him at Chelsea. Yep, Osimhen sacked his agent. That's telling. That tells us a lot. Age from 20 to 25 is difficult with so much money and glamour around. Kills lots of young players' career. Sancho, maybe I don't agree for 1 second. Sancho is an excellent player because remember, he went out on loan to Dortmund and he was brilliant for them. And he helped them reach Champions League final, didn't he? Correct me if I'm wrong. Can we also sign Anthony then? I don't want that one at Chelsea. Sancho is a good man. Okay, player. I cannot listen to the media. Okay, that's a big jump up. Apologies, I cannot I didn't really get what you were trying to say there. Can you tell me why Anthony's case is different? Because clearly he's a bad player. Even at Ajax, he wasn't that good. Yeah, and why they paid that much money for him, I didn't know. When we heard address the rumors that Chelsea were interested in signing him at the time, the argument we heard from a lot of people at the time was that he's no different from Ziyech, and Ziyech is a much better player because Ziyech has excellent passing range and probably a better dribbler. Anthony tried to unnecessarily complicate things. It just because I don't know. You saw the one he did when he was just a dribbling a ghost that you and I don't see on the pitch. Anthony, for me, he's a crappy player. If it wasn't for the fact that you can say the relationship Sancho and Eric Ten Hag weren't in good terms, I think they'd probably be happy to let Anthony go. But because of how much they paid for him, and it'd be difficult to find anybody that give him a sizable fee to take Anthony from them. Sancho is a much better player than Anthony, and I'm not saying that because we signed Sancho. No, I think actually. If you're truthful to yourself, you'd know that if you want to start your statement by saying at the moment he's one of the worst players in the Premier League. Yeah, Sancho is a good player. I think he is. I agree. Let's see. Zumalo is saying Sancho will shock the world with his excellent work rate, and the lion in him will manifest at Chelsea. I agree. And in all honesty, something I've said is this: he's home. He was born in London, and now he knows that irrespective of what happens, he will become a Chelsea player on a permanent. Which means he'd have a settled mindset, and with a settled mindset, you can achieve a lot. I believe and agree with you. Okay, just having a good conversation. Palmer and his family is United fan. Does this performance has any issues? No, in this case. But I'm saying let's take it back a bit. I get where you're coming from. But when you struggle, in most cases in real life, when people struggle, some people usually seek to go back home, start afresh. And at home, you feel settled. You have, I don't know how to phrase it. I think the same can be said about football. Sancho is home. He's a London kid. And he's always talked about how Chelsea, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is one of his favorite teams. He grew up supporting Didier Drogba, or maybe idolizing Didier Drogba and Frank Lampard. If that can make a difference. That's the argument. We're not saying for certain, yeah, that certainly makes a difference. But the fact is, when you have a certain mindset, for instance, he knows he has a home now. He's not just on loan. He will end up becoming a permanent deal. You can say right now, he's a Chelsea player. That will not change. I don't see what happens that's going to make it change. The same thing can be said about João Félix. He now has a home. But before he was more like in limbo, or maybe purgatory, not too sure where he belonged. But now he knows he's a Chelsea player. A settled mindset, nothing to worry about with regards to his future. That's exactly the point I'm making. But Sancho's case, beyond finding a permanent home, he's a London boy, and I think that makes a difference. But I like how you contribute to our conversation, because it leads to one thinking. Let me just use the word sensibly and producing an intellectually driven answer to the sort of comments you add to the comment section. So I like that. But I hope my response is good enough for you. Let's see. Everyone remember Manchester United coach. The last word that I'm not going to read. Sancho is a time bomb taken against Mudryk. And I understand from the perspective of him being the starter and Mudryk getting relegated to a bench warmer. Yeah, it's a possibility. It's that's a possibility but yeah, the possibility of that happening is there. Yeah, Anthony, for me, he's an awful player. And to me, that was saying we shouldn't concern ourselves with Sancho United relationships at this moment. Our concern now should be Mudryk and Sancho competition. Not really a concern. Or maybe, yeah, I think concern, the word concern works there. That's what we should pay attention to and see who wins. Good competition, and how it affects the team's performances. And Sancho, a lot of Chelsea fans would be shocked. They will look back and realize, yeah, not a bad signing after all. I know some are still questioning why we signed them, even after the manager in his presser said something that suggests, yeah, he okayed the signing, if that makes sense. Eric Ten Hag is I don't read that. You have every right to use it, but I don't read that. 2 year back, Sterling wanted to come to Chelsea. He is a London boy. Yeah, I mean that raises question too. It doesn't work for everybody. We are struggling to make it the top four. Doesn't make sense to me. I mean that's a legit argument right there, because if we're going by that logic, it's important that we mention how about Sterling. But I would argue in Sterling's case that there are lots of reasons why he didn't do well at Chelsea. We expected him to lead, at least lead by example. He wasn't able to do that consistently. Yeah. but I get where you're coming from. We signed Sancho and Felix, both need a career revival while we're struggling to be top four. It doesn't make sense. I think we'll find out whether it does or not. Bobby wants Anthony. No, he doesn't. You know that. We allowed Galatasaray to have us to have Osimhen. Let's take a favor back and bring back Batshuayi home. Jay, just go back to work if you're at work. So, Bobby, left hand side. Now we have Neto, we have Mihailo Mudryk, we have João Felix. I'd say Neto. João Felix right now, he has a lot to prove. As much as I think he's a good player, I don't think he starts over Neto. If Neto isn't gonna start on the right in the right hand side, I think if Madrid occupies the right hand side, then Neto most definitely will start in the left hand side. But let's just bring in Sancho. Maybe he still needs to show that he should be a starter at Chelsea. That's because I don't know. It's up to the manager to start. But Bobby, for the left hand side, we still have Sancho. But Sancho, for me, I think he plays mainly on the right hand side, but on the left hand side too. We have Sancho there, Pedro Neto, Mihailo Mudryk, the three of them. Raheem Sterling is on loan, so we shouldn't count him. Bobby, your choice for here.
Sorry, which side?
Left wing.
Oh, it's a big choice, but we've got Sancho training these few weeks. I don't know if he'll start though. He might choose to put somebody that has at least had a few um, starting games with us. It's a difficult one. You see, I'm looking at this team based on those that are on international break and how much football they'll be playing on international break, because I don't want us to get the post-international break blues that we often suffer from. So the left wing, I'll be brave. Let me start Sancho. It's just that I don't
You will
want a
start Sancho
player.
over Neto?
Well, we said Neto on the right, didn't we? Oh, we said Madueke. Oh, no,
Yeah.
Neto for sure. And then Sancho
And
come
and,
on
and I
later.
think here's something. The reason why I am agreeing that Madueke starts on the right hand side. So probably by now the manager and his staff they know that these two they've played together before, and the way their performance against Wolves shows that a lot more will come from them. So I think probably we see Madueke down the left hand side is probably where we have uh again the difficulty of
And
selecting one player over the
and the
others. But go ahead.
most important thing is that we've got Swiss Army knives, haven't we? They can interchange. They can play
Yeah.
different positions on either side. So, yeah, it's a luxury, but for the stagnant initial principle, then okay, Neto starts. He gets it. But even in game, he and Madueke will be swapping wings anyway because they can both play on either side, as can Sancho. So it's going to be quite exciting to watch when they really get it together. We're still clicking, but when it happens, whoa, that's gonna be quite a team.
Yeah, we do have numbers, and probably chances are, I don't know. The manager probably will rotate a lot. If again, I think I'm seeing a situation where if we play a team that defend deep, the manager will prefer somebody like Sancho, who's an excellent dribbler. But if we play with teams where we have a lot of space to exploit, I think we'd see Pedro Neto there because of his pace. I think so far Mudryk will be starting off the bench until he proves he should be starting over Neto, or maybe the manager will rotate. But I think Neto starts here, in my opinion. But you think it's going to be Sancho?
I said Neto starts, in my opinion, but
Yeah, I think
Sancho will
Neto
definitely
starts, in
come
my
off the
opinion.
bench because he won't want to give Neto too much of a workload. It depends on how much he's played on international break. If he's played a lot for Portugal, you might be surprised he doesn't start. You might even put João Felix there. There's even room. I know it's not
Yeah,
perfect.
I
But
didn't
there's
actually
even
mention
room to
Felix.
put, hang on, there's even room to put Jackson there and put Nkunku up top. You know, we've got a lot of options.
Holy Tomolika, I missed Nkunku too.
Yeah, you can put Nkunku as a striker, put Jackson on the left wing.
Holy, I think Jackson. Here's why Jackson will always have a place, especially in the Premier League 11, Bobby. I think in terms of let's say aggression, he's unique. Nkunku doesn't have that like the sort of aggression that Jackson has. Not a Cole Palmer, not Nkunku. The only person that's close to him would be Mark Gui, but Jackson is a more complete player than Mark Gui is. I think he's a better dribbler. Maybe Mark Gui better at pressing than probably you could say. I wouldn't say he's more aggressive than Jackson. Bobby, how do they compare for you? Mark Gui and
No,
Nicolas Jackson.
Jackson is head and shoulders a better player. Look, I think Jackson is a magnificent player. He's a developing player, but he is a magnificent player. He's a player that
And
we
the
are
signs
going
are
to
good.
enjoy. You know, it's going to be like when Drogba came first season, second season a bit iffy, then third season when he really hit the ground running, he was just unplayable. Jackson is not a as physical as Drogba, but he is physical. He is fast. He's mobile. He can play on the left wing. He interchanges very well with Nkunku. He interchanges very well with Madueke and Palmer, as they showed in the goal that he scored against Palace. Look, you know, the way things are, I think the African boys come back earlier. He might put him on the left. And then, especially if Neto has
No,
played
no,
a lot for
but for
Portugal.
saying the overall strongest 11, their travel don't matter. If
Okay,
we're
doesn't matter.
predicting
Well,
the lineup against
if you
Bournemouth,
want
then the travel matters. Go ahead.
if you want that brutality, then I put Jackson on the left and Kunku up top, striker.
Yeah, because Nkunku is a much better finisher than Jackson is. And Jackson, I think the reason that I wouldn't mind playing Jackson in the here is he tracks back very well. He tracks back very well. Maybe his application on those games that have led to me arguing that he tracks back very well. Maybe he played based on the manager's demand, which is Mauricio Pochettino at the time. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't mind, but I don't think the manager will play him on the left. We haven't seen anything that suggests the manager will play Jackson on the left. So we still go Neto here because you could say, let's be honest here. Enzo Maresca's approach, the wingers do a lot of work for him. So I think in terms of the best we have until Sancho proves, which I know he's capable of proving he should be a starter, maybe the manager will end up rotating. But let's see what happens. We have numbers in the front area. If anything, where we lack numbers, you could argue in the midfield area. Defensively, we have numbers. The question now is whether they're good enough. I think what's left of our defensive line is the manager to find you could say the better pairing right there. Thank you so much for that, KD8 for the left. Well, you're looking for Bobby's trouble, right? It's a footballing world. Okay, and just answering, responding to someone. Neto went on international. We're not predicting the lineup for the next game. You're trying to predict our strongest 11. Given how we know the manager likes to approach the game, whether Reese can fulfill the inverted fullback role as effectively as Malo Gusto has shown he can, we don't know. But let's just assume he will operate as a traditional fullback and not invert. Then he'd be starting over Malo Gusto. In my opinion, if we want the right back, the fullback to invert, I would start Malo Gusto over Reece James. But let's see what happens. Beto must play right wing. Nani has to hold the bench. That's just your opinion. Until he starts underperforming, I think given his current form, I think the manager will be starting him on the right hand side. And the sort of you can say combination play we saw between him and Cole Palmer, I think he will be starting until he proves again he underperforms. Then the manager brings in maybe he moves Pedro Neto to the right, and João Felix starts on the left. So we have numbers here. You could argue we're just having fun because remember we're still missing João Felix. We're still missing Jadon Sancho, Mihailo Mudryk, Stonka, and Christopher Nkunku 4. You can argue another 4 with Nkunku starting in number 9 position. João Felix can play 10 right wing. One of right wing. You can who? Wow. I think we have numbers that's not really easy. So we're just having fun. And plus, we don't have too much to work with in terms of the manager's preferences. But this is not a predicted line. But that's just also looking at it and saying this probably will be our strongest 11. I would still do one that I would do alone. Yeah, of course, driven by my opinion as an individual. Jackson starts. Yeah, we know that because he's unique. He's different. Noni cannot be a starter, an impact player. Well, yeah, he's in a goal scoring form, and I think the manager starts him. Mark Gui is in the under 21 squad, so he'd be playing a lot of games too. The intention is a project and who fits in for its actualization, and there comes the plans which informs the recruitment. Let's just trust the process because yeah, they didn't just sign players for the sake of it. At least that's what we believe. Even though the argument that Sancho just an opportunistic signing. I think he'd do well. He has a place here, but he has to prove it first before he makes it into our strongest starting 11. Sancho over Maresca. Nice to see you again, my assistant Santiago Monos. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show, and I hope married life is treating you kind. Neto played only 45 minutes for Portugal today, and this is not a predicted lineup for our next game. This is more like our strongest 11 given what we know so far. And you could argue we're just having fun. Chances are, as the players improve, with realize that, yeah, some of the players we selected and even close to being one of the starting players. Let's see. Let's see what else do we have here. Anything else to address? Namaya is saying, I think Neto will start. I don't care whether he starts for Portugal or not. I think let's just go with this. We'll learn more. Again, as the season progresses, we have a lot of good players. Who's to say João Félix cannot become a starter? Who's to say Nkunku cannot become a starter? After all, as I get it, Jackson is more of a more physical of the two, more aggressive of the two. Nkunku is just a better finisher. Who is to say Nkunku is not going to become our starting number 9 in the Premier League? So let's assume this is our starting 11 in the Premier League. We will do another show tomorrow where we'll try to pick our strongest 11 for the UEFA Europa Conference League. Yeah, since the manager, during his presses on 2 occasions said that, again, said something that suggests we'll have a different 11 start in the Premier League and a different 11 start in the Conference League. But we're seeing signs that he can actually mix it up sometimes. But Rich Amodi Mekos, nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Our coach beats Bournemouth in the FA Cup with Leicester City, but that's not guaranteed we'll beat them now. You cannot script a football. All right, Nkunku, yep. So we're done with that. Let's see. I think let's just scout for news, and after that, we'll call it a day. It's been an excellent discussion, and I appreciate that legendary Bobby found time to keep me company on the panel. It's been enjoyable. Right, let's see some news items here to address. Let's get through them. And if you have any questions as we're doing that, put it in the chat and we will try to address it. All right, this year from Vince, sorry, my bro. Gusto's injury picked up last week is a concern, but there's hope that James will be back and available, which would mean a like for like swap. Not necessarily. I think they're different a bit. I think Gusto for me is more mobile. There are areas where James, you could definitely better than Gusto, more experience and a better crosser of the ball. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, just having a good conversation there. Let's see if Bobby, if you have anything else to add to that, you let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna start scrolling down to see if anything new has emerged that we need to talk about. All right, this is Vince's opinion, I guess. Um, okay, that's Vince's opinion too. Let me see if any news has emerged. Yeah, Andrea Santos is a player I know will be an excellent like for for Enzo Fernandez. When I said he has again, him Vince is saying this boy can pass. Vision is excellent. That's me. I read emojis too. And he says that when I said he has a higher ceiling than some of our central midfielders, I wasn't me mincing words. He's an excellent footballer. If we are not careful, they will take him away from us. I don't think he's going anywhere. And Chelsea just Chelsea had to send him out on loan, back on loan to Strasbourg to continue playing and continue developing. The plan is for him to eventually come back home and be a starter for Chelsea. And when his time comes, the manager cannot deny him his place. Uh, this says here, Enzo Williams said saying that Chelsea want him at 10 role. It can. Just give me 1 second. All right. Here's the thing. I don't care what he says. 10 role. It concerns me as we already have lots of good times, especially Parma and Pies. Just give me 1 second. This guy is here singing. All right, let's see how the manager handles that. He's not the one to tell the manager uh, where to deploy players or not. What else do we have here? Mauricio Pochettino is set to finally become the U.S. boss weeks after agreeing to take the job. The finalizing of his agreement had been complicated by his exit from Chelsea. Okay, that may well be one of the reasons why all of a sudden Bolly got infuriated because he likes Pochettino and started the nonsense. And this is the Nike Chelsea 25-26 home jersey features the lion crest of the current Chelsea crest, similar to the 24-25 shirt. The lion comes with a striking red shadow for a unique and fresh look. Okay, I haven't taken my time to look at it. I think I have to. It looks good, simple, and nice. With that, I think we've come to the end of the show, Bobby. I don't know if you have anything else to say. Otherwise, we're going to call it a day. And thank you all for finding the time to join us. And we're ending with 41 likes. That's not bad. We still have 204 people watching, but only 22 on YouTube. The rest on X. We appreciate you all. Thanks everyone for hitting my target of over 5K followers on Twitter. Wow, that's excellent. Maresca should have given Chalobah a chance. That's up to him to decide. He doesn't have to because he's better than all the current defenders at the club. And that is your opinion. Even though I'm inclined to believe he's better than some of the defenders we have. But it's just my opinion and your opinion too. So with that, thank you to all of you. Thank you to Nehe Namaya Fawale. Thank you to Cadella Edwards. And thank you to Rich Amoni Mekos. Thank you to Jay. All of you, Vic was here. And if I miss your name, apologies. And of course, my assistant, Santiago Munoz. If I miss your name, apologies. I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all and cheers.
Ice in my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, and I'm up again. I got tired eyes, need a cup of blend. That's right, in the AM, that's my only friend. No light, just the sun coming up on the horizon. I lose track of time, yeah, I move fast and climb a new class divine, yeah, true passion shines. And I'm through passing time, I choose stacking dimes. You snooze half the time while I move passing by. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, in my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say,